Jason Dunstall, legend in the Australian Football Hall of Fame. You wouldn't be anywhere else other than the MCG in September.
Oh, really excited by this one. And it's quite fascinating because these two teams have had very different run-ins to their finals campaign. You have a look at Brisbane. They actually won 7 of their last 9. 5 wins came against top 8 sides, and they had a loss to another top 8 side in the Gold Coast. So, as Jonathan Brown was saying just before, they are battle-hardened. They have fought through pressure situations where they've had to fight hard to get those wins to secure the top 4 spot. They know they can work through it. Then you take a look at the Cats on the other side of the coin. Well, they beat 6 of the bottom 10 teams by comfortable margins and were never tested in any of those games. So is there advantage about being battle-hardened? I guess the positive for Geelong is you get to manage your players, you get the right time, you get the right freshness into their legs, so you know exactly where you are coming into this campaign. But I think if I was leaning one way or the other, I'd prefer that one where I've already taken on a number of the fellow premiership contenders.
The theories abound. What I do know is that Brisbane have this opportunity, this quest in the next 4 weeks. Only the great teams go back-to-back. It seems to have become progressively harder, and the fact that the previous 2 premiers before them didn't make finals has been well documented. But here they are. They've got themselves to this point. Could they join? You become the team of the year if you go back-to-back.
Yeah, you can't underestimate how difficult it is. It's not just about maintaining form, maintaining the fitness of the list. It's the injuries. What time of the year do they come? And to which players do the injuries occur? Is it your key players or is it the more peripheral role players? So there is a lot of luck involved, a lot of great preparation, and as you said, a great opportunity for this Brisbane side to really stamp their mark on the competition.
And halfway through this decade, it's sort of one premiership from a bunch of 5 teams, isn't it? So it's going to be fascinating to see whether Brisbane or Geelong or even Collingwood, who qualified last night, or one of the others can do it.
There is so much finals experience in these lineups right now. They groan with it. Chris Scott, 31st finalist coach, and Chris Fagan, 17th, we've referenced. Patrick Dangerfield, his 29th final. Mark Blitzarves, his 27th. Lockie Neal and Charlie Cameron have been here 24 times. There's half a dozen who are about to experience all of this for the first time. For Brisbane, 3 of them are teenagers and one's in his 30s. Sam Day is one of the stories of the night. 32 years of age, 15th season, sees the final at last. He's got Levi Ashcroft, Sam Marshall and Ty Gallup as young bucks stepping out on their journey, tasting it all for the first time. The richness of September comes in the build-up to the side.
The Australian Football League and Premier Partner Toyota welcome you to the 2025 Toyota AFL Finals Series and tonight's second qualifying final between the Geelong Cats and the Brisbane Lions. The AFL acknowledges the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the land we gather on today, and pay our respects to our elders past and present. We acknowledge we play our great game on this land and respect the cultures of all First Peoples, their contribution to our nation and contribution to the game of Australian rules football. To conduct an official welcome to country, here's Uncle Colin Jr.
I'd like to start by acknowledging that this evening we are meeting on the lands of my ancestors, the Wurundjeri people. And I'd like to take this opportunity to pay my respects to my elders, both past, present and emerging, elders from all nations, but I particularly want to pay my respects to everyone gathered here this evening. But I always like to...
All right, just while I do that, folks, welcome in everybody. Of course, Friday night football, it's second qualifying final here between the Geelong Cats and the Brisbane Lions. Of course, they finished second and third on the AFL Premiership ladder for season 2025. Of course, they're playing this at the MCG tonight. Of course, Geelong had that soft run into the finals. Brisbane Lions had a tougher run into the finals, but did well. This is a game where Geelong goes in as favourites in this game. I'm not sure why. This is a game I'm definitely tipping the Brisbane Lions. And I think Brisbane Lions might just have a nice win over the Cats tonight. I think they're definitely well positioned in this game. But both teams... I tell you what, both teams have been in red-hot form. Anyone can win this, but as I said, my tip is the Lions. It's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game, folks, so stay tuned. They're about to kick off in a little under 3 minutes. Just want to give you a little bit of a look at the ins and outs for both of these sides tonight. And, of course, for Geelong, Shannon Neal, what a monster in. Shannon Neal coming back into the side for the Cats. Mark O'Connor and Jai Clark coming in. Going out, Reece Stanley, Mitch Knivet and Jed Buse going out for the Cats this evening. Tell you what, big celebration game. Milestone for the Cats is Maxie Holmes. He celebrates his 100th game this evening. Fantastic. Well done, Max Holmes. And, of course, for the Brisbane Lions, of course, just as big ins. Listen to these two ins, folks. Lockie Neal, Jared Berry, the two big ins for Brisbane. Tell you what, they're danger players. Of course, going out, Bruce Revel and James Tunstall are going out for the Brisbane Lions tonight. Of course, milestone game there for the Brisbane Lions is Kai Lohman. Hey, Samson, how you going? How you going? There we go. There are your ins and outs. There are your teams for the second qualifying final for season 2025. Of course, last night, folks, last night we saw the first qualifying final there played and won over there in Adelaide. And, of course, Collingwood got the job done. 79 points to Adelaide, 55. So the Pies looking good in that game. But who's going to win this game? That's another thing. Don't forget, put your tip in. We've got the poll going. Let me just get that sorted out for quarter time. Let's get back here. We're only a minute away. So we're going to take you down to the ground where all the action will be happening in just under a minute's time. So let's head on down to the ground for the opening quarter, whereas the Cats taking on the Lions.
Wonder whether they're going to go and ask that same question. 100 uncontested marks seems to be that magical number. Can Geelong defend that? Do they want to defend it, or are they just prepared to go head to head with them? What we do know is that they've both got great styles of football that hold up so well.
Lions are the best away team in the competition. They've won their last 5 games here at the G comfortably. Harris Andrews wins the toss. They'll go to the punt road end. I just love the fact that we spent 6 months of the season working out who gets to play finals, and then if you qualify for the top 4, you get the opportunity to set yourself up with a home prelim, and that is half the battle towards getting to the flag.
It is indeed. So matchups become so critical. Both teams go back into their huddles, and then just a couple that we're watching for. So we know that Mullen and O'Connor are up the sleeve of Chris Scott, and if he wants to go defensively, he can. We know that Hugh McCluggage has such a massive impact, but there's a whole wealth of talent through the middle of the ground that's going to be challenging for both sides to try and contend with. Atkins has been a superb player for the Geelong Footy Club, and he just looks like he's tailor-made for this high-pressure contest, and Dunkley does the same thing for the Brisbane Lions at the other end of the ground. Shannon Neal had a horror matchup with Harris Andrews back at GMHBA Stadium for one of the few times in the back half of this season, had his colours lowered in a big way, so we'll see whether they have that matchup again. There's so many possibilities, it's impossible to try and pick a winner. I just don't know which way to lean here, Jason.
Are you looking to do something with Harris Andrews? Normally we're talking about Tom Stewart. He hasn't rediscovered that form as yet. Let's just say, if you allow Harris Andrews to run things, they look very comfortable down back the line.
Yeah, he was close to best on ground in the game last time. 2 of his best 3 games have been against the 2 Geelong games. We're set, we're ready to go. Bailey Smith out on the wing.
Nearly 12 months on from a finals classic. These 2 great clubs are ready to go at it again. Placed in the preliminary final at home, up for grabs, and it's socketed forward by Dunkley. That was Holmes hurdling and tripping Guthrie into the ground, courtesy of Archie.
Guys, what goes through a coach's mind when you start Lockie Neal and Will Ashcroft on the bench?
Yeah, I reckon they thought he would have been set. Maybe Atkins goes to him, so they just wait for a minute or 2. They've been getting the job done without him, so he and Will Ashcroft on the bench.
So Blitzhalves is taking the ruck reins as expected. Without he and De Koning will be the pair that takes over from Stanley. Footy hasn't gone too far in the opening 30 seconds.
Patrick Dangerfield in and around the footy early.
The Blitzarms doing the ruck work, pulled it down, ran straight into Dunkley.
So we've got that matchup at the other end of the ground. So Harris Andrews against Neal took 10 marks against Geelong, that round 15 contest.
Dunkley's gone to Dangerfield. And he all coiled up, the veteran champ. Fletcher, first clear disposal. Lions bring it inside 50. Stewart thwarts their efforts, as he has done for so many years. Humphries is his target.
So Berry's out here with Bailey Smith, started out on the wing. So Berry's just got responsibility for the champ.
Humphries took off, brings it up for Manor. Runs out wide. Bailey Smith dinks it up for Dangerfield, set him up. Starcevic made the spoil and the retrieve. Lions to set it up again. That's a good-looking kick on the angles.
Henry made the spoiled day underneath. First involvement's a beauty. Charlie Cameron's a September specialist. And Charlie chuckles early. So go back to centre wing here. It was Bailey Smith. The only knock on Bailey Smith throughout his career. He's been up and under, and there's the hand in the air saying, hey, that's on me. So he tried the short kick on centre wing and just sat it on top of Dangerfield's head. Starcevic was good enough to come across. At this stage, Charlie Cameron's starting to get up in the middle of the ground, but the turnover happens here. This kick is critically important. And you see by this stage, Tom Stewart to the right. He's already gone, Charlie. Got the hand in the air. He's heading to goal.
Well, Tom Stewart had peeled off, and it was Logan Morris that had got across and made it 2-on-1. And then Sam Day played it really smart. He just crumbed it because he knew Morris was going to go up. He gets the loose ball, and it's a perfectly weighted kick to Charlie Cameron, and that's the ideal start from a Brisbane perspective.
It's his 48th finals goal.
Yeah, in his 24th final, centre bounce. Thorpe, they're ripping it out of their homes. Leading hard, Stengel. Not enough to be paid a mark. Gardner did the job. Fletcher, and there's a high one from Leicester. Blitzars has to stand and wait. Bailey was a size mismatch. Can't quite pull the mark down. Dempsey feeding it out. Myers playing it back to O'Connor before they venture forward. Lions have gridded things out pretty well. Now he's off. Kicking into the pocket. Cameron wasn't quite sure whether to fly or not. Andrews, no such hesitation, and with direction to McCluggage, to Dunkley. Starcevic close. Very, very. No whistle other than for a baller.
I think he considered paying it because it was tucked under the arm. It was a hospital hand pass from Dunkley. You can see the left arm's free. He had every right to call that holding the ball.
Bailey to Berry at the source, dumps it down the wing. De Koning strides forth. Cats to reset through O'Connor. Dempsey has it, has a look at the deep targets, and he'll give them a chance to fly. Cameron in the middle.
So the Leicester matchup, and Cameron, and you see Harris Andrews, he gets occupied here now. He is the one that has spoiled one of the two incoming balls here, but you just see it's close in there that just makes a little nuisance of himself. Just gets some body on Harris Andrews, and then Big Jezza is able to get back and take the mark.
The All-Australian captain has been the centre of so much debate. He is the game's best goal kicker, and he starts with a blemish.
Oh, that is a bad miss. He did some really good early body work on Ryan Lester, who's been a good matchup for him. He would have wanted that one just to get his confidence up and running.
No one brings it in quicker than that man, Dane Zorko. Already has a plan to Ashcroft and then to Fletcher. There's some Geelong herring. Oh, Stengel read the play, angled the kick. He won't miss this one. Cameron takes the mark. And we'll line up from almost point-blank range. Well done, Tyson Stengel.
Yeah, so this is their first attempt, Jace, at the uncontested mark game. And they were aware and awake to it, which is a great sign.
83 goals, 37 after that early miss. There's a winning finals record of 10 wins and 7 losses. He'd love to send the Cats into a home preliminary final. He starts with a goal to go with his behind, and the Cats take the lead.
Nothing better when you've just missed an easy one is to get a genuine sitter directly in front just to atone for that. And we know that they have one risk taker down back, and it's Dane Zorko, the Brisbane Lions. He is the one that is entrusted with picking off all sorts of kicks. You can see he wants to punch that low one, but Stengel's defensive work, his ability to read the play coming out of defence, knowing what Zorko wanted to do, results in the ball ending up in the arms of Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah, it's a great sign. Of all the things that have happened early in this piece, that just tells you heads in the game here, understanding exactly what the opposition are trying to do, take it away from them.
They score more points per game than any other team from forward half intercepts the Cats.
Dunkley now to Holmes with Dangerfield forwards. Blitzarves and Fort. Neils after it out the side. Smith worried him out of it. Fort on the follow-up. Ball still in dispute. Blitzarves wrenched it clear for the Cats. Gives Jez another look. Will he roll and go deep? Neils headed to the square. Now he goes shallow, and Dempsey in the hole.
He started magnificently, Jeremy Cameron. So you look at the matchup and you know how much faith they've got in Leicester. But it is one that could potentially get away from them, and he made a really smart decision to go to Dempsey too, because Neil was covered deep. Just a little chip into the hole to this dangerous goal-kicking wingman that they love to try and use at some stage forward of the ball.
Goals in 19 of 23 games as an elite winger. Ollie Dempsey, the test of the set shots, which he meets beautifully.
We've just seen a few things sort themselves out at that last centre-bounce stoppage, which Geelong, by the way, a 2-zip up. Mullen found his way to McCluggage. So Tom
Atkins started on him.
Yeah, he took responsibility for the first 5 minutes, and then at this last stoppage, it was Mullen that went to him. And then they found their way forward, and Ryan Lester just playing 5 metres off. Jeremy Cameron there, ball dropped short. And then you see Dempsey running hard from his wing position into a hole.
He's just about the smartest forward running player, Ollie Dempsey. His ability to read the right space and to get the timing right of when he pushes into that space.
Rayner into the centre bounce.
Goalless last time against the Lions. Ollie Dempsey has one early. Smith in there alongside Ashcroft.
O'Connor's gone with Rayner into the middle as well.
Former Cat in fought, got the tap down over Blitzarves. O'Connor, as you mentioned, in amongst it with Rayner, and it's no surprise he's been identified as a major enemy.
It's a great match-up, O'Connor, because he can take him as a half forward and also go into the middle with him.
He's been reinvigorated this year, the Irishman. Bowes, the dribble kick was effective to Martin. And one more grab that he would have liked made the next phase difficult. Wilmot was on the job, but he held on too long. Free kick is coming back to Jack Martin. Third club, chance to play finals. He was able to do that a couple of times with the Blues. Fans it wide for O'Connor, and the next obvious one is the captain.
Yeah, I like that. I like Mark O'Connor pushing forward. You know he's in there to do a job on Cam Rayner, but as soon as you win the ball, you've got to become an offensive threat. He just bolted forward, and he lost Cam Rayner. Cam Rayner looked up. He was 10 metres goal side of him, couldn't get back to cover, and now he finds Dangerfield.
I remember when they last met, it was Patrick Dangerfield's big night. It was supposed to be. It was his 350th. He kicked 3 behinds. Sure, that's tucked away in his memory somewhere, but he's got greater goals in mind. Unfortunately, that is going to fall short. He's there for the marking, but the defenders do their job. So the Cats have an 8-point advantage.
Torco for Neil. His first look after 5 weeks off. Slips the hand pass away to Will Ashcroft. Down the wing, Dunkley. Dangerfield folds back. Dunkley couldn't mark, and Dangerfield's recovery was brilliant. Off to Bowes. Close is wide open. Gets it on the first punt. Has a look. Tried to screw it inboard, and Torco was right there.
Shoots the lead off. Dunkley was out. The Will Ashcroft kick just didn't have enough carry on it. They look dangerous when they create the turnovers, the Cats.
Drawn by 8 early. Packed MCG, a lone final at this ground in the first week. Neil does the ruck work. Dangerfield almost just eluded him. Bailey had to get rid of it in a hurry. Fletcher hemmed in. He took his chances and he's kicked it out on the full.
I think he was kind of hoping he went out of bounds there, so he didn't have to kick it, but he couldn't. Otherwise, he would have got pinged.
Guthrie on the re-entry. Bit of marking practice. Neil couldn't get there. Underneath, close. They all got to him. Fort Ruckman does the tackling and wins holding the ball.
Fooling 1 half at the moment, Chase.
Yep.
They can't get out, though, which is a good sign for Geelong.
Sorko quickly identifies Lester as the target. Cameron, he's leaping, running and setting them up. He's gone over. He's got the taste for it, the All-Australian kid.
Well, you get a couple of kicks early, you get a goal on the board, and you're right, his confidence is at an all-time high, and we don't often see him flying like that.
Have to get used to saying that, the All-Australian captain. Kick 4 on Leicester last time in that loss. Blitzarves continues to ruck. Fletcher continues to watch on as Ashcroft brings it away to the wing. In front, Gallup takes the mark, looking to feed it back. Now they've turned it over. Dempsey has one already on the charge. Dangerfield, and this man is everywhere.
That's a worry.
That was a great shepherd from Dangerfield.
Yeah.
They had a big 2-on-1 and Danger played it beautifully, but Dempsey's the problem here. Dempsey out on that centre wing is finding all sorts of space, and I'm not talking 2 or 3 metres. He's been a real issue for them.
And Dempsey's one problem. Jeremy Cameron is another. His 85th goal of the season. And the Cats make an early statement.
Yeah, they've settled really well. They've got field positions, 9 inside 50s to 2. Their back half hasn't been tested at all, really. It's only had that one inside 50 where Charlie Cameron got out the back. Everything else has been going Geelong's way. It's just Ollie Dempsey on this far wing. He's been able to get forward at the right time. Fletcher's been able to find a bit of the footy as well. So I'm sure that is the exact matchup.
He just took a calculated risk, as everyone followed the footy, and he thought, well, we've got decent representation, I'll back our boys to win it. He just stayed exactly where he was when that first stoppage happened, and then in the end he had 20 metres of space to himself.
And then smart by Patrick Dangerfield. Didn't give the free kick away, just positioned himself between Gardner and Jeremy Cameron.
De Koning and Day are the understudies in the ruck. Andy Smith towed it forward. Martin Sharp hands Atkins. Has options. He steered it out for Jez again. Doesn't give it. Hooks it instead. Near side. 2-2.
Tell you what else happened just then. De Koning in the ruck competed at centre bounce and put 30 metres on Darcy Ford, pushing hard forward.
They did ruck against each other in round 3. Wilmot plots a path on the way out. Will Ashcroft swinging it out wide to the returning Lockie Neal. Testing out that calf, striving for a connection with Lohman. Humphreys saw to that from a Geelong point of view, and Berry and Manor followed not just towards the fence, but on top as well.
Sorry, just interesting. He's just seeing a three-way rotation between O'Sullivan, De Koning and Blitzarves. They're the ones, so the Blitzarves and De Koning are the ones rucking, and then O'Sullivan came on to play down back to relieve De Koning.
They are fortunate, aren't they, that Brisbane don't have a lot of renowned tall firepower. It does allow them to make those manoeuvres that Moons is talking about in the ruck without potentially losing too much.
Put it on. Stand, please.
Kick out on the full. So Berry, with the shoulder strapped up, dislocated it in Perth against Fremantle. It'll be tough during this final series. Long down the line, O'Sullivan, great positioning. Had a terrific year. Touched on the way through. Berry got rid of close, didn't do it subtly enough. No advantage for Manor. Back it comes to close. Been on starvation rations for a couple of weeks at the end of the home and away season. 8 touches in each of his past couple. De Koning, Henry, it hangs. Raider closed. Henry hangs on. Pulse is raised. Geelong looking for a bit of a kick mark. Throws out the near side. Takes off. Found a little bit of space. Invents the play up the line. Cameron's got 3 against. And Andrews, who dominated when last these two teams met, picks up the intercept work.
So Gardner had gone across onto Cameron, which means Leicester has others to deal with. He's dealing with Manor with ease. And now to Wilmot, gives him so much drive. Across half back, as we've seen regularly, doesn't mind getting forward, kicking a goal either. To Neil, snappy hands are all right, but they haven't actually taken much territory yet. Starcevic, another handball, getting more dangerous to Leicester. Now, some width. Fletcher with some time to think about where he's going to deliver to Gallup.
Gee, they worked out well. They made that up as they went.
And he makes it up by making it out wide with the handball. Oh, long shot of goal was magnificent from Fletcher.
There were about 4 hand passes in that chain from half-back that all looked like it was going to put the receiver under pressure. They were good enough to handle it cleanly and then find an option. And when Zorko finally released the long one out to the wing, they had their space. But the give and the get, well, you can see this hand pass back in, closed down very quickly. Over the top, closed down very quickly. Pressure coming from behind. Pressure straight in the face, but then they get it out eventually. It needed to be handled cleanly. It was. There's a beautiful ball in, and then hitting the target's not enough. You follow up, and have a look at this for a finish. Just what they needed.
And Gallup did a good job there. Got outmarked earlier. O'Sullivan outmarked him body to body. He's going to have some opportunities. The finish from Fletcher was superb. The uncontested mark counts in favour of Geelong at the moment, which have taken away one of the strengths of the Brisbane line. So being a bit imaginative and taking some risk paid off.
Geelong by 9 points. Fought out the back. Holmes was onto it. Atkins looking to pounce. Got knocked off it by Zorko. Kept away by De Koning. So a mad scramble for it. And the umpires decided to ball. De Koning in fought. Bailey.
Back Tom Atkins. Geelong. Tom Atkins.
Umpire on the inside of that stoppage. Didn't like what he saw. Tipped on the way through. So Dangerfield's got to go. It might suit him. Lofts to the teeth of goal. No mark initially. Fletcher's working both ends. Taken to ground by Matter.
Pressure in the front half from the Cats has been really good. We talked pre-game about how well Brisbane scored from their back half when they've played Geelong. Pressure's up early.
Goalmouth scramble. Berry stripped of the ball. It's live. Just overran it. Close trying. Bodies pile in. Try even closer to the lines.
So right up, every single Geelong player in one half of the ground. Tom Stewart's got his favourite last player in the line, defensive position. This has got a Geelong look about it here.
How dense is this in the goal square? Fort, Berry, Bailey. There's danger in all of that. And the mark poked in by Henry.
Well, that's not Brisbane. That's not what they want to do, just kick indiscriminately from their back half. But Geelong have forced them into it through their pressure. They've brought plenty of heat. Small forwards working really hard. No easy ball for the Lions coming out of defence.
A little brief period where he was the Cats' swingman, Jack Henry. There's one goal this year. In fact, he's searching for it now, but he's going to miss it by a fair margin.
Plenty of distance. It's always a concern, that hack off the ground deep in defence. Very hit and miss. Often better off just keeping that in tight, looking for another stoppage.
So 6 chains out of their back half here. So 6 times they've left and haven't been able to get it inside their own forward 50. That's a big win for Geelong.
The experienced head, Zorko, Andrews, now Neal. Looks to cross the field. And through Andrews, he's got Wilmot on the near side. Final number 11 in game number 80. Gaps to Fletcher, who is getting busy, and Neal's on the patrol. Lions bring it long. It'll be O'Sullivan versus Morris. Morris the sit. Beautiful mark. And he'll go quickly enough. Or Holmes kept his wits about him. Atkins as a result. Neal's the target. Knocked over Fletcher. Couldn't do that.
It's one of those ones where Holmes was in the protected area, but he was telling the umpire he was getting out. Suddenly it was play on. Brisbane moving forward. Bailey, crisp handball. Ashcroft loves this ground. And Lyman had the choice. The mark was there for the taking.
So there's the cautionary tale for all Geelong supporters who are watching here at home on the TV. You go, what scares us the most about Brisbane? That's just what you've seen there. They went from one end of the ground to the other, and they've scored.
And these medium-sized, dangerous forwards are just that. If Lyman can return to form in this is his 50th game, then Brisbane will take some beating. They've just about caught the Cats up, back to 4.
Well, they use the corridor more than any other team as well, and it's Zorko again that'll take that risky kick. It nearly got turned over, but in the end, Zach Bailey was able to gather the ball, didn't mark it cleanly, but gathered it. You see, coming off half-back, there's the hand pass, and there's the kick. Oh, that's dangerous. But look at the payoff, risk-reward.
First time, Jace. So first time for the game that they've gone from their defensive 50 and made it all the way through to their forward 50, and they've scored. So it's been hard work. Cats have been great. That's a bit more what the Brisbane Lions want the game to look like.
50th game, 50th goal. Kai Lohmann dragged himself back to form against the Cats at GMHBA in the back half of the season. Been injury interrupted the whole way through. Fort and Blitzhouse. Blitzhouse sticks the tackle on Fort, but stuck with the footy.
Bailey Smith, just 2 possessions.
Atkins was right underneath, got it in the beak.
Mullen, hard tag on Huey McCluggage as well. McCluggage just had the 1 disposal.
They are close in at the stoppage. Bowes towed it up. Wilmot dragged down by Dangerfield. He was a sitting shot. Still they try. And Ashcroft couldn't get a kick away. Fort just hacked it clear. Guthrie about it went 15, but maybe just to clear the air out. Charlie Smith takes off. They closed on him a step to get around Charlie Cameron. O'Sullivan's the outlet, trying to get it back. Lohman and Smith, test of strength. Smith did pretty well. Rayner's right there, couldn't release. Great one-arm tackle. Wins holding the ball, O'Sullivan.
That is a big win because Rayner's one of the strongest players in the game. It looked like they were going to be hurt on the turnover there, the Cats.
It was a great fight back, Chief, wasn't it?
That means they were going to pay the price for trying to get Bailey Smith into the game then.
Holmes into open space. Archie's dogged in pursuit, making no grounds. Holmes didn't steady. Fluffed the kick. Starcevic.
Quickly turns it back Brisbane's way. Day is the target. Huge mismatch against Myers, who wins the ball and then was so surprised that he had.
Yeah, it's got to be better than that, Sam Day. You don't get too many matchups like that. A one-on-one against Brian Myers in the air. You've just got to use your bulk, use your strength out body and take the mark.
Brisbane have been inside 54 times and kicked 3 goals. 12 times from a Geelong point of view. So it's the territory game that's keeping the Cats in front here.
Blitzars puts it to the front. Berry, Atkins, pushing his Blitzars on the follow. It hangs a long time. Martin eyed it all the way. And hugs it in beautifully, Jack Martin. Overtures from the goal square by Bowes and Manor. And he's going to go back and have a longer look at things.
It's a big hole in front that Hugh McCluggage is now just filling up as well. So it's the only spot they can get done from an uncontested mark point of view. So maybe he's going to have a look at it, Jack Martin.
The 30-year-old played his first game of the year in round 13. The Cats had a plan, a long-term plan, which he says involves not just this year, not just this final series, but in the years beyond. His talent never doubted. The kick just falls short. The Cats 8 scoring shots to 3, but the lead is just 4.
He's got a tough start. Ryan Lester got his hands full with Jeremy Cameron. Cameron goes off. Then he gets selected the footy, and it's Jack Martin that takes the contested mark.
Starcevic searching for the right targets. Now all pretty well manned. So long to the contest. Close from all angles. Knocked away from Day by De Koning. Ground ball. Gardner had it ripped away by Atkins. Paddled on and then stuck the tackle. Nobody does that better. Tom Atkins. Record number of tackles for the home and away season. And again, a dense stoppage inside Geelong's 50. Who can get on the move, create something. Neil tried to put it into space. Gardner to Berry. Smothered by Martin, totally committed. And holding the ball with a tackle from behind.
The pressure's relentless from the Cats. This is brilliant to watch.
Density though inside 50. Atkins sets it up for the leapers. Henry had a big leap from the side. Underneath, Oisin Mullen has kicked his first goal after 7 behinds across the years. And all of his teammates have been riding that moment. He'd had 5 looks this season and some of them have been pretty elementary. He snaffles it in a qualifying final, and that will reverberate all the way to County Mayo.
It will indeed, and the smile on his face will be one of the enduring memories of his finals campaign. The other point, which is just as significant, is he's kicked it plain on Hugh McCluggage, who's just had 1 possession for the quarter. So not only is he getting the job done from that point of view, he's now been able to hit the scoreboard on him. So magnificent work. They did work hard. Jason spoke about their pressure. If they don't, the ball gets swept down and they're in all sorts of trouble at the other end, so they need to maintain that level of intensity. Great result for Mullen.
Still doesn't have a home and away goal, but he has a finals goal to his name.
It's a great challenge now for Hugh McCluggage to work his way through, though.
Played on plenty of the big games this year. It's Neil was a whisker away from getting the takeaway. Instead, it's Smith going to Cameron again. Lester left, but was helpless and helpless against Jeremy Cameron.
So Brisbane are relying on ball movement for everything, right? So their whole game, their 3 goals have all come from ball movement from their back half. 4 centre-bounce clearances to none at the moment in favour of Geelong gives them territory, gives them 16 inside 50s to 4, gives them 9 scoring shots from the 16 entries, and now Jeremy Cameron with the opportunity to kick his 3rd. Centre-bounce is an issue.
a start it's been so far. Jeremy Cameron already 4 scoring shots. This is going to be line ball. Oh, post ball as it turns out. It's 2 goals, 3 for the quarter. His 18th final. 2 grand finals. And a premiership with the Cats, of course. The ex-Giant.
Kick monster to clearance the Brisbane Lions. 10-5 clearances, 4 zip out of the middle. They're going to get the work.
That last one was hit or miss from Lachie Neale. He bolted, flat stick. It had to be perfect to come off, otherwise he's way out of the contest.
Got the right kick mark this time on the way out. Dunkley on the zigzag, just got it to Forbes.
Stand!
Cats clog up the corridor.
Sure, Darcy's going to pick it
No.
off the middle of the ground.
You don't want him looking in the middle, do you?
Let's take the territory. Dunkley, good rise. He'll roll and go. So a rare entry. Will it turn into another score or goal? Morris trying to create the play. Henry in the tackle, released. O'Connor clears the area. Cameron's there again. Lester jarred it out of his grasp. Dunkley overwhelmed. Straight in.
Well, finally they get a little bit of territory, the Lions. Geelong have been all over them from territory point of view. They're turned to work really hard, keep it in their fore-half, let them get set up behind the ball, take some pressure off Ryan Lester.
Blitz arms to the front. Dunkley getting busy underneath. Berry, Neale, the prime movers involved. Neale's kick's not much chop this time. O'Connor hacked it. Fort ends up with it, or not quite. Had it for a moment and lost it. Blitzarve, Smith, Dempsey, close. Dangerfield's on down the line. Kick goes in front of him a bit too strong. It favours Archie, who's got the sliced kick to Wilmot. Looking for a bit of run. He pops it up. Oh, great hands, Raymond.
There certainly was of steel. He's up on his feet quickly too. Blitzarves has pushed back to fill the hole. They come for him. And for the footy, O'Sullivan and Dempsey committed. Blitzarves, O'Sullivan jolts out. What a trap from Zorko. He's deep. He's trying to feed Cameron. But look at Henry like a steam train. Comes out of there to close. Cats on the move again. Down the line to Dangerfield. He takes it. And now he presses pause.
Ryan Lester's looking for quarter time here, big time.
He can't win a contest at the moment.
Dempsey on a bit of ground given.
It's a bit of 15 on the clock here. Archie's gone back behind the footy for the Brisbane Lions.
And Darcy Gardner's the one with the roll on Jeremy Cameron there.
Just saw there, Lester just changed the matchup with McCluggage just because he didn't want to go with danger.
Took off, pumps it in. Cameron's the target. Spoils are made. Underneath Wilmot. Taken. Good tackle. Got it to his boot. Slung it away. Good gather to Koning. Jez couldn't get the purchase. So count that as a shot, I suppose. He's had 6 shots in the first term for 2 goals.
The 12-point margin, Brisbane would take all day long here. Every single number, 17 inside 50s to 6 at this stage.
I reckon I've seen half a dozen contests in this first quarter, 50-50, where the Lions haven't been prepared to put their body right behind the ball. They've gone in full pace, trying to take it out cleanly and keep going. But if you don't get it, you're straight out of the contest.
Oh, what a kick from Zorko. That can change plenty to Bailey. How precious a late goal with 20 seconds to go. Dunkley has the task. There's 4 Cats ahead of him. So a quick kick like that should favour the defence. Henry, who has really led the charge back there, was able to take the mark. So the Cats dominated Brisbane earlier in the season in that opening game, or round 3, when they first met this year. Brisbane were able to work their way back into the game and ran out pretty comfortable winners. They're going to have to come from behind again. What an opening term from the Cats. 10 scores from 17 entries, but that turned into 4 goals, 6 led by Jeremy Cameron. Brisbane 3 straight 18. And so it's a 12-point margin to the Cats. The prize is huge. It's a home preliminary final. This first week of finals, magnificent weather. There'll be so much to dissect come Monday night on AFL 360.
Monday night on Fox.
All right, folks, there we go. It's quarter time here at the MCG. The Cats, well, they're doing it well. 4-6-30. They're leading the Lions. 3 straight goals, 18. 2 goals the margin here. Addy G, what's going on? Albert, Greg's in the house. Of course, Isaac. Also, what's happening, fellas? What's happening? Tazinks, Samson. He was in early. How you doing? How you doing? I'll tell you what, this is a ring-a-ding-ding game so far. The Lions came out fast with Charlie kicking the opening goal of the term. I'll tell you what, though, the Cats lifted their pressure. What I've noticed is in that opening half, the Lions did seem to struggle a little bit to get down to their defensive half of the ground. And then they turned that ball over. The Cats just seemed to be able to run it with space. And, of course, 10 scoring shots to 3 in that opening term. Lions are lucky. They're only 2 goals adrift. 2 goals adrift, but Dangerfield and Jess is looking good out there for the Cats. That is for sure. Of course, Zorko made a little bit of an error, costing them a goal, a little bit like Moore did last night, but I'm sure he's going to come back and have a cracking game in the final 3 quarters. I tell you what, this is anyone's game. This is a game where I actually thought Brisbane would win, but Geelong looking good so far. Brisbane still trying to settle in this game, whereas Geelong looks to have settled a fair bit earlier. And that being said, good pressure put on both teams in the latter half of that opening term. Let's have a look at the goal scorers so far. Jeremy Cameron. Tell you what, he's had nearly a double handful of shots on goal. He's already kicked 2 goals, 3. Jezza, 2 goals, 3. Tell you what, they want to sort of put someone on to try and quieten him down, or else he'll have a monster evening. Well, Jezza Jeremy Cameron, 2 goals, 3 from his 7 kicks. Mullen has a single with Dempsey for the Cats. They're the goal scorers. And, of course, for the Brizzy Lions, Kyle Oman, Jasper Fletcher, Charlie Cameron, all singles. Let's have a look at the ball magnets. Wouldn't surprise. There we go. Dane Zorko, the top 4 are all from Brisbane Lions. Dane Zorko, keeping busy down the back line there for Brisbane. 10 disposals, 9 kicks, 1 handball, couple of marks for him. Jasper Fletcher, next best on 9 for Brisbane Lions. He's kicked a sausage roll. Darcy Wilmot, Josh Dunkley on 7. Best for the Cats, though. 3 of them, Oliver Dempsey, Jeremy Cameron, and Mark Blixars, all on 7. There we go. Jeremy Cameron, tell you what, he's playing just about everywhere on the ground. Tell you what, he's got some type of motor to get him all around the ground. Lockie Neal back in the team for the Lions. He's ended up with just 6 in the opening term with 4 and 2. Paddy Dangerfield looks, I tell you what, he looks fantastic out there, Paddy Dangerfield. Looks like he's running. I tell you what, his hair doesn't move at all. Must have had it well cut for this evening's game. 6 disposals for him, 4 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks, a couple of tackles there for the Danger. Maxie Holmes there on his 100th game there for the Cats this evening. He's just had the 5s that have kept him nice and quiet so far. On his standards, he's always nearly up the top of the leaderboard on the disposal getting and doing it well. Logan Morris just with the 2. Hasn't done a great deal so far. Let's go on down. We'll have a little bit of a look. Levi Ashcroft and Callum Cheek quiet there for the Lions. So the Lions got a fair few players there that can step up. Cam Rayner just on the 1. Hugh McCluggage, I think he's forgot his luggage in the opening term. It's on the bus. Get it. He's just got the 1. Kyle Loman with the 1. Charlie Cameron just with the 1 disposal. Shannon Neal not yet touched the ball there. No disposals. So I tell you what, folks, there's a few big guns still to step up. I just want to have a quick look at this disposal count. As I said, pretty even. 81-82 inside 50s, however. There we go. 17 inside 50s already for the Cats. Getting plenty of ball inside. Had 10 scoring shots, so that's still pretty good. Just want to kick a little bit more accurate. And, of course, the Brisbane Lions. Just the 7 inside 50s, and they've kicked 3 straight goals. As I was just thinking, there wasn't many free kicks given, which is fantastic. Eddie G, it's always good to see these games play on. Just 5-3 in the opening term. All right, that's enough a little bit of me jibber-jabbering. Hey, what have we got? Is anyone voted yet? Anyone voted for who's going to win? All right, let me put a vote in, just in case no one's put a vote in for the poll. There we go. I've got my vote in, who I think's going to win. Let's hope it registers. If it doesn't register, I will end it. The poll and start a new poll, because I don't know what's going on with that. It's not registering at the moment. There we go. Hang on. Let me end the poll because it's not registering, and I'll start a new poll. While we get back down to the ground, let's head into the down to the ground for the second quarter. It's the Cats by 12 points. I'll put the new poll up now, folks.
About that, so he's a proud man, done a great job, Mullen, so those matchups are good. From the other point of view, 8 forward 50 marks to Geelong, that's a concern. So every time they go inside their forward 50, they've been able to find a marking target. Billy McClugging's going to start on the bench, so just give a little minute or two to think about it, maybe prick the pride a little bit, Jace. Throw the challenge down. O'Connor, he's got the match up with Rayner and going with him
wherever he goes, yep.
Heavyweight start, befitting the occasion. Brisk September night at the G. The Cats by 12 points. If we have learnt anything about these tussles, though, in recent times, is that they go the distance. Rucks shared it. Atkins, O'Connor, into space. Humphreys, Smith. Nowhere to go, and he's coughed it up. Dunkley chose the kick, and it was inventive and worked. Bailey's going to get 50. He'll get a free kick, Loman, down in the square against Stewart.
Yeah, so that's way off the footy. We'll find that for you. So Tommy Stewart's a bit bemused by it all. He must have been trying to make a lead, I would imagine.
I thought it was for interference around the mark because there are a couple of Cats close to where Bailey was.
Loman for his second. Now the Lions get what they needed.
Well, he's a player, Kyle Loman, that we know he's capable of some really sensational things. He's had a quiet year. To get him in the game early, to get him firing at this time of the year means a hell of a lot to Brisbane, particularly when they're getting limited opportunities.
Have a look at it. We'll find out exactly what it was. So here's Tommy Stewart, bottom left. Oh, dear.
Wow.
He's lost his feet. And the umpires pinged it. That's just... I don't want to say it, but that's not what you're paying finals for. Back to the middle, though. 5-zip still. Oh, they've given that, actually. Ended up giving that to Brisbane. They did have it down as 5-zip, but it come out the centre wing. So maybe they get a little cheap one there. You take it.
They're having a laugh about it too. He knows he got away with one, Kyle Loman.
It's such a difficult and interrupted season, but what a start with 2 goals. Bailey right in the middle there. Holmes guiding him all the way. So for all their domination in many categories, the Cats' lead is just 6th out. Ford, Bailey, heads up handball to Neil. Tries the same to Loman. No looker to Berry. They're getting a bit fancy. O'Connor dropped it. Rayner shadowed him. And the umpire ticks that off as he rushed.
Lockie Neal's just starting to get a little bit busy here in this game. Starting to get some run and flow and get through the contest.
Just feels a little different, doesn't it, at the start of this quarter?
He was best on ground in the preliminary final on his way to the Gary Ayres medal. Andy Smith trying to find a way. Had to go for the yardage. Knocked away from Blitzarves. Ground ball to be dealt with. It spills Brisbane's way. Archie through the traffic. Loman tried to knock it on. Didn't quite work. To Koning, Blitzarves, Atkins combine. Trickles it straight to Wilmot though. Least kick smothered by Myers. Gallup has a go. So too Zorko. Archie's got space. It's shut down by Guthrie. Desperate acts all over.
Big smothers. Big smothers from a Geelong point of view. A little bit of fancy stuff by Loman there. So Bailey and Neal through the middle of the ground. Just a little bit of a different... Well, we know McClugging didn't find it in the first quarter, so they're just getting a little bit of different complexion.
Deficit trimmed to 5. And the Lions attacking. Bailey had a mind to get through. Neil couldn't distribute.
He's starting to look dangerous, Zach Bailey. He is on the move all the time.
He's got Max Holmes, so Holmes is the matchup, and he's having to work really hard defensively.
He's got 8 possessions, Bailey, already.
O'Connor in the nice light grip of Will Ashcroft.
It's the Cats leading disposal winner at this stage. Zorko, no surprise for the Lions. The hands were nifty from Myers, but straight back to Neil. Kept it away from Atkins, so it's Fletcher's call. And he goes for the hot hand of Floman, but just a little too heavy and a little too hot. The dependable Zach Guthrie. Dangerfield realising, I think too late, that the kick was designed for him. Manor. Cameron a little out of position. Gardner first play on this, dropped the mark. Stengel. Big arc. Long kick. Shannon Neal ready to rise. Andrews. Cameron back to close. And no, into the post. It wraps. And the Cats so close again.
Talk about that Harris Andrews and Shannon Neal matchup. Shannon Neal hasn't touched the footy.
It's a big spoil, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Running back with the flight.
Huge.
Dunkley bites off the shorts. Fletcher. And a stack of it in the opening term. This is disposal number 11 coming up. Fletcher just pulled up. Dunkley again. Trying to work away around the worn wing. Stewart's pretty well set for the intercept. Didn't mark to get the free kick.
Yeah, well, they were really set up on the other side of the ground for change of direction, so they were going to be outnumbered down the line, and this guy reads those cues better than probably anyone in the competition.
O'Connor getting some of his own footy, and Stewart stays on the wraparound. Guthrie's the outlets. The Cats have got it well set down the members' wing. Blitzarves is the target, and he'll be able to link it up. Gives it to Mullen, has a look at the targets, set it up deep. Neil knocked away by Andrews.
He's playing 5 metres in front. He's prepared to run back with the flight, read it, and he gets those magnificent spoils in.
Silco's quick kick in, the holding call.
Well, they saved it twice, really. Both times that was just pure ball movement from Geelong from one end to the other. They are stretching. I'll get Moons to keep an eye on Darcy Fort. He's going to have his tongue hanging out because the coning and/or blitzards, whoever it is, really stretching him around the ground.
So Berry back in the team. Just missed the one game. Help with the pre-finals bite. Skipped its way through to Loman. Far from perfect. Neil. Bit of a standoff with Stengel. Leicester has to bash his way out of there. And the Cats lead is 7.
So what they do with Shannon Neal, I like this. He's now got up the ground and Andrews has gone to Cameron, so I don't mind that.
Smash down. Zorko didn't really want it. Fletcher from the side. Manor.
Right now you hope that Neil can... Well, Leicester just folds over and takes Cameron back. So
And then he calls
Leicester was
Darcy
very quick to
Gardner.
run off there too.
It's just called Gardner back then.
So the rearrangements behind the ball continues. They're set now. Zorko. Dempsey, they better be because here comes the footy and Leicester playing well in front. Hangs onto the juggling mark and wants to switch straight away, which he does to Archie. And arrives safely enough.
Harris Andrews running out wide. The captain goes unrewarded for the moment, although Fletcher might give it to him.
He's playing a game, Fletcher.
So this uncontested mark game we talk about a lot is just etching up. 100's a magical number for them. They're up to now 40.
Fletcher
That's aggressive.
up to a contest in centre field. Fort set himself, took the mark. Quick release was a good one. Will Ashcroft spreads it to Berry, eyes the big sticks, and finds the target.
You want to talk about being aggressive with your ball movement, guys. That is a perfect example. So Fletcher's on the back flank, and Darcy Fort leads into the middle of the ground where there's traffic, where there are Geelong players. But Fletcher just says, I'm going to kick to my ruckman in the air, but I'll back him in the air. He takes the mark, and then they've got the runners. That is aggressive ball movement.
Yeah, I loved it, Jace. This is their DNA. This is,
Look at that. There's a couple of Geelong players there.
Yeah, but the sides, I don't know whether he summed up the Manor versus Ford really quickly and said, I'm prepared to go there. But the fact that he did is just supreme confidence. And then Ford upended his part of the bargain by taking the contested mark and didn't sit on it. And that's what Brisbane do better than anyone. They don't sit with the ball in their hand. They get it moving and moving on. So they've had a really good opening 5 to 10 minutes of this second quarter.
Yeah, kicked the first two. Jared Berry, what a return from him. And that shoulder injury. Holding up so far. Fort being held up.
Just continue to take aggressive kicks to the lines, and it's paying off.
Up quickly, the numbers underneath swelling. Battle to Aiden Mullen. Have a running at Manor. Ashcroft, the fumble from Zorko. Plenty of havoc in there. Holmes got a quick kick and a good kick out of there. And again, the ball just doesn't land where Shannon Neal predicts. And goes on its way through for yet another Geelong behind. Look at that scoreline now. 4-9-33 to 5-1-31. It's the sort of scoreline we associated with Brisbane more often, isn't it, at the Gabba?
And nearly double inside 50s as well. So this has been a terrific response from Brisbane.
Leicester's having a devil of a night. Dempsey should have worked the turnover. Hand pass to Close. He checks his kick, and Cameron will get another look.
Again, strong in the contest. It was Dempsey. Jared Berry went to ground. They have been better in those 50-50 contests, the Cats.
And they look dangerous when they go in. They've been able to find a marking target. 8 marks inside the first quarter we spoke about. You're just about backing from here, Jeremy.
It's his 18th final. He's kicked 35 goals in them, including the 2 so far tonight. Cameron for his 3rd. He didn't quite get that the way he would have liked. And Fort knocks it through. So 2-3, 1 out of bounds and 1 rushed.
Could have marked it, Darcy thought. Didn't get a lot on the swipe either. Only just got a bit of it.
Slow kick in is a rarity. Obviously, Dane Zorko doesn't have the footy. Starcevic, a more considered approach. Tries to angle it for Andrews. Neil realised too late. So used on the way out now.
He's a good player. God, he's a good player.
Aggressive square-up kicks.
Captains combine. Ashcroft pretty busy in the corridor at the moment. He's still looking.
They set up for a switch again. He hasn't looked. They had the extra out wide. Fletcher on the far side.
They've just dropped off here, Geelong. Their pressure's just dropped. We know the pressure drops when you play an uncontested mark game. They're just giving them 10 or 15 metres here on the way through.
Can they find another target? No, forced to go long. Still aggressive mindset to centre half forward. Morris and Dade both there. Oh, Guthrie looked like he was going to bring it down. Henry sits on the 50. Lohman ready for him that time. Well tackled by Zach Guthrie.
Lions have the 2 goals of this term thus far. Andy Smith just can't find any space.
Thanks, Mark Darcy.
Cluggage is back around the ball, and Mullen has gone right to him. With a volleyball played, Will Ashcroft couldn't get out. How the umpires see that. Kept the whistle down. Guthrie knocked on by Holmes. The open space, who will it favour? Cameron had a fresh area. Zorko swoops. Will Ashcroft brings it around to Levi. Back to Will. Being pursued. Got his kick away, but it's low down. It was hard to deal with. O'Connor, Stewart bring it out for the Cats. Martin given right of way, but up goes Leicester and squares one.
So what do you do, Jason, if you're Geelong with Harris Andrews? Do you desist with letting Neil be his opponent?
Yeah, I think so, but you've got to be a little bit more circumspect with the kicks going inside 50, and maybe Shannon Neil becomes a bit of a decoy until he plays that far off him that you can actually hit him cleanly.
Neil taken to ground, but still managed to almost get it out. He got it to his boot at least. Holmes. Little fumble, so Zorko just took the yards. That's going to work inboard. Gallup has a look. Oh, slipped over, did Morris at the inopportune moment.
Dane Zorko is playing some sort of game here. He's just all rip, tear and bust,
Yes.
and he's not that fussed about how it gets forward. He's just going and throwing
When
it
he
at
kicks it off the ground,
A hat kick into the corridor.
But look where he is position-wise. He's the leading possession winner on the ground. He's up on half-forward flank at the moment.
Lions looking for the go-ahead goal. Dempsey's got other ideas, although he's turned it over. Well won by Fletcher.
He's one of the best on the ground for mine.
And he followed through on the direction. He told him he was going to kick it deep. He's pushed it into the pocket. Morris has got company. Spoils the made. Dempsey rode a bump but lost it. Morris put his head down.
Yeah, good decision. Drop the head. Can't get high contact for that.
Darcy, Mark.
You see him duck down. Really good decision.
Fort wrapped up by Blitzards.
It's a mirror image of the first quarter, though, because now it's Brisbane with all the territory.
Oh, free kick to O'Connor.
That'd be against the train, I reckon, with a guess.
He only just squeezes the kick out. And Simon, that's a bounce ball. He's got free and gets the handball. Quick smart to Stewart. Martin's got a bit of space here on Fletcher. Close. Running hard and wide. Cameron sneaking back to the goal square. Does he go to Jezza? Does he go to Shannon Neal? Or does he just keep away from Harris Andrews? That's the plan for now. Foes. Riley Smith sneaks inside the 50. Dempsey running hard. Doesn't fly. Neal. Oh, couldn't bring it down. That was perhaps his best chance yet. Andrews still found his way to the footy. Blitzards over the top.
When I talk about Harris Andrews, he just made it impossible for Jeremy Cameron to get involved there, because Neil took Harris straight back to where Jeremy Cameron had a one-on-one.
Cats still without a goal in this second term. 4 behinds. Dempsey. He was capable from there to make it 5 behinds through Leicester's diligent work.
So some big-name players not having much impact. Bailey Smith just had the 7. We've talked about McCluggage a lot, has had 1 possession. And Logan Morris has just had 2.
So Dunkley's hurt here.
He landed right on his tailbone, boys.
Very careful. I'm back on stand. Stay out, Dane!
It's in the tangle of the marking contests. So during the week he'd prepare to go anywhere that was required in Geelong's game. If it got going, that's where he would serve. Long down the line. Cats have got numbers at the contest. Day threatens to win it though. Able to release to Berry. In close confines, McCluggage. Will Ashcroft absorb the tackle?
Oh, stiff not to get the mark.
So he did choose to absorb the tackle.
Good decision.
So the umpire has adjudicated it. Probably right at the end, Will realised he needed to drop it to his boot, but it was too late by then. Close. Gives the forwards another look. Cameron's got 2 against, and Andrews spoiling is something to behold.
He's impassable, John.
Well, Shannonell's at a bit of a loss, so he went deep and Starcevich just peeled back and took him, but he can't get to any dangerous spot at all. Just a little lead-up chip kick mark and do him at the moment.
5 spoils in his intercept mark work. He has forced Geelong to find another way. Atkins just took a little bit of territory. Mullen trying the same. McCluggage against him. Mullen made the tackle.
Just on the Harris Andrews Shaylee Neal matchup, with players like Harris that like to take line on the ball, that sometimes you can play off their back shoulder, which keeps you involved in the game.
Well, Ashcroft took it on again. Neil has it, able to release it. Mullen couldn't find Stengel. Wilmot gets it out of the dangerous area for now. DeConing thrown to ground by Gallup. And the Lions are able to combine as a result. McCluggage gets a kick. It's to open territory. O'Sullivan gets the bounce. Quick release. Lions need support inboard. Didn't use it instantly, so Henry's job to find a way.
As he has regularly so far tonight, floats one down. Again, up goes Day. His confidence growing. Sweeping handball O'Sullivan. Neil, this time he has an opportunity to get a bit physical on Harris Andrews with a tackle. It just feels so pivotal to what's going to happen in this game right now, doesn't it?
It does, and Tom made a really good point. I wonder if he's this sort of young man that can work that out, or does he need someone to get out and tell him to try something a bit different?
Well, it will take a concerted effort from him, because Andrews at times will play 5-10 metres in front. So he's got to come up and park himself on the back of him. Keep pushing him up if he can, to then have that space out the back.
5 behinds the Cats for this quarter. 2 goals, 1 for Brisbane. Hitting back and hitting back hard. DeConing rucking. Hose roving. Cats surging. Oh, was that interference on Levi? It was. And Dempsey take it quickly, so they want to move if they can. Nothing for him yet.
Oh, he had Bailey out the other side.
Yeah, the safer option is Leicester. Back again. Ashcroft, searching kick. Humphrey's happy to escort it over.
You've got Logan Morris, Cam Rayner, Charlie Cameron haven't touched the ball in this second quarter at all. So both teams have got really important players that are struggling to impact the contest at the moment.
McCluggage still anchored on 3 possessions.
Fort's tap, well directed. Dunkley, more yardage. So they've worked their way from defence all the way into attack. Another boundary throw in forthcoming.
So you just keep working. That's the other thing, is that Neil and Morris at either ends of the ground. They've just got to keep getting the contest. The more you get to, the better chance you are.
See here, McCluggage there just trying to organise things around the stoppage, and Mullen doing an outstanding job on him.
Cats dominated territory in the first quarter. It's 9 inside 50s each, but Brisbane are hitting the scoreboard where it matters in this second term, although that fell short from Ashcroft. Stewart to Myers. Archie, defensive-minded play wherever he is on the ground.
I'm sure the Cats doing a lot of that in the first term. Now it's Brisbane's opportunity just to create repeat stoppages inside their attacking 50.
So those really small half forwards that get high for Geelong aren't having a massive impact either, particularly on the way the ball's coming out of their back half.
Into a dangerous spot. Will Ashcroft took him on release. Dunkley squeezed the kick. Didn't find the accuracy.
Good out, guys. Out 10.
Good defensive work from Brian Myers to get there and lay the tackle on Dunkley as he was trying to snap the goal.
So the go-ahead goal is proving elusive for the Lions. Blows the target on the kick in. Holmes just had to go back, brought it to ground, didn't quite gather. Dunkley sees it over. His plans just not quite panning out for Chris Scott. The tension of it all in the second term.
Dangerfield back on for the Catsies. He's had the 7 possessions. No scoreboard impact.
Marks go round and round, and Bailey comes straight through the front. Sliced his kick though. Gallup overwhelmed. Henry. Holmes needed a target and didn't find one. McCluggage tries to drag himself into it. Gives it away to Day. To the open side, Archie. Will Ashcroft. The snap again to Stewart. It's rinse and repeat. Stewart, though, will find the target this time, or enough for Myers to gather and see what he might be able to conjure. Dragged it inboard. Humphreys can work it out with Martin on the outside. No, he takes the kick up the line instead. Stengel's got Dangerfield. Pops the hand pass to him. He has Bailey Smith if it'll just sit. Stengel's got to get involved again. So it's a bit of a scramble, but it still might work. Bailey Smith trying now. Wheels around, dabs, I doubt it's 15. Mullen trying to give it off. Amana dragged it up. Gardner couldn't quite handle it. And Zorko, what a scramble piece of play.
What might have been times 10.
Yes, the pressure was enormous there from a Brisbane point of view. They just 4 or 5 times they looked like they were out Geelong and then just got brought back. Sean Manor just made a decision to go when perhaps he could have looked for someone else.
Even with all the press they were under, Zorko tried to pick off a corridor kick coming out.
A wider avenue this time from Holmes. Shannon Neal is there. 1-2 from Neal. Flipped it out the back. Rush kick Wilmot. In front Holmes.
Some deep breath needed here. It is deep breath time. No goals for Geelong in this quarter 2 to Brisbane.
Chris is back.
Just can't find the target in the dangerous part of the ground.
Margin down to 3. To Coney. Fort. Prevails. Morris. Oh, gave it straight to Holmes. That changes a lot. Manor glances up ahead and Dempsey makes himself dangerous. Nonchalant little give. Manor. And to Coney on the end of it.
That's much better from Sean Manor. He only had one thought with his previous possession, and that was to kick a goal from around the corner under enormous pressure. But this is a much better decision. Just summed it up. We talked about not being able to find a target into a dangerous spot. They had Cameron on the boundary, but now to Coney. Must kick.
Famously was able to kick a goal in celebration mode in the grand final. The Cats have aims on getting there again. They need to start converting. He's a defender these days, but tonight he's called upon to ruck and to deliver. Cats' first goal of the second term comes from Sam DeConey.
It's a big goal, and it was a big turnover. It was Logan Morris that picked the ball up cleanly on the wing, looked to fire out a hand pass to Zach Bailey, but he just missed the target. Hit it straight to a Geelong player, and then it was a matter of what could Geelong do with possession going forward this time. They were able to identify DeConing in a little pocket of space. They kept it away from Harris Andrews. They didn't just bomb it long. They've looked at those hit-up targets. Dempsey involved again, and the Manor little two-step was brilliant, and then the chip kick even better.
Yeah, that kick there is going to be shown at half-time over and over. We know they've got players capable. Myers is capable of that kick. Close can do it. Stengel can do it. We know they're dangerous with that kick going inside 50. With Harris such a big factor at the moment, they've got to start to look at that more often. They got back on top here, Brisbane, from a stoppage and clearance point of view, which has given them some territory. But that goal is just so important in the context of this game.
Cats had 7 in defence, so the warning issued. A 15-minute arm wrestle settled by the DeConing goal. And back to work they all go. Fort and Neal combined. Missed Wilmot with a hand pass. Gave Manor a look. Finds the way through. Bullocked his way through. And a lovely pass to Bowes. He's learned his lessons well.
Oh, how good Sean Manor been the last couple of minutes. And it's a couple of errant hand passes. The Lions had possession. This time it's Lockie Neal misses the target. And Manor's prepared to take a player on, give himself the space and then hit the leading target.
Again, that's the kick. That is the kick that can open up the gates here for Geelong.
Bose has been going into goal a game since returning from the nasty hamstring injury. And how Geelong would love another on the way to half-time. Jack Bose puts it on its way. The Cats double up. And the lead is suddenly 15 points.
And it's instructional. It is an instructional minute of footy right there. You got Andrews that's completely dominant and been disrupting everything that's been going forward this quarter. And then Sean Manor in 2 possessions changes everything around how they go forward. There's nothing Harris can do with either of these 2 goals, and it's the way forward for the Geelong Footy Club. And Chan Neal could still have a role to play in all of this. Occupy him, take him away, and then the opportunities will open up everywhere else, and that is great ball use. And now it's up for every other Geelong forward ahead of the ball, Jason, to say, that's me. I'll get on the end of that.
It just seems a more sustainable style of football that Geelong are playing. Put pressure on, create the turnovers, then work forward. Whereas Brisbane are trying to take everything on, trying to play that perfect, chaotic millionaires football, if that makes sense.
Lead back to 15. Rucks engage. Ford stat, well read by Ashcroft. Force fed it back to Ford. Stripped of it, no whistle. Neal with strength, but Martin steps in for Geelong. Great timing of the push from Cameron. Doesn't complete his work. Starcevic's 3 Geelong players around him. He saw a gap. Interesting disposal. Goes back towards Archie. And then Neal fumbles from both sides. Cameron tries to show them how. Humphreys leaps from one way. Made the contest with Berry. Bose, can he step through? He's got Dempsey waiting in the square. Who will kick his second? The Cats have gone bang, bang, and then Elder third.
Fumbles, the key word, Hutto. Multiple fumbles from Brisbane in particular. It was Archie that fumbled, and then Lockie Neal, who we just don't equate fumbling to. They couldn't get their hands on the footy. In the end, it was the Cats that picked it up, and then they just started. The pennies dropped, Gaz. They're starting to work their way through this defensive setup. They're having a look. It wasn't a great contest from Berry. He allowed the ball to get over the top. And they're looking for clever kicks, keeping it away from Andrews, finding teammates, and they're hitting the scoreboard big time now.
It's everything. So Dempsey again here, the stoppage, just taking liberties at the right time, getting forward of the ball. He does it all the time.
And he's gone forward. Jeremy Cameron up on a wing at the moment.
Smart ball users change the complexion of a game of footy.
2 good moments for Bose. One his own and one to create. The Cats dial up the pressure and it's a game-high lead. The scrap in the middle, Forts got some sort of kick away. Mullen first access, good release. Humphreys looks for close, set it up high. Torco dragged an arm.
I'm interference. Stand.
So if they stick to the plan here, it's again.
Inboard to Atkins.
Don't blast.
It's got to Koning. And they do have Dangerfield or Stewart on the burst. Unloads for the goal front. Yes! Tom Stewart doesn't kick them very often anymore. But what a moment to arrive. 3 goals in the past 7 seasons.
We saw it last night. There was a passage in that third quarter where it just split open in the space of 5 minutes, and it's happened here tonight. And it's been on the back of a mature footy side that have been able to read a game whilst it's been played. Not wait till half-time to make an adjustment in the way you want to go about it. They've seen what's happened. It wasn't working. Long inside forward 50 to Harris Andrews wasn't working. They've gone short, spread, bang, 4 goals in 4 minutes, game cracked open.
The other thing that I think is super impressive from the Cats is when you look at the clearances, in particular the centre clearances, when the Cats get first hands on it, it's a clearance. The Lions are getting hands on it a lot, but it's getting nullified by the Cats. The pressure has been intense. They don't allow a clean exit, and they're creating turnovers.
It's an unlikely list of Geelong goal kickers, isn't it, to include De Koning and Mullen and Stewart, just his 6th in his career. Cat's not finished yet. They're a regular customer, and Stengel takes them out.
They are threatening to blow them out of the water in the space of 10 minutes here.
They made half-time badly, Brisbane. Hang on,
happened here?
Ball's going to get turned over here.
Down the other end. Right in front of the goal.
It's gone the length of the ground, Jace.
It's gone 100 metres.
These two were fighting about 30 seconds ago, boys, and O'Connor was talking with the umpire, demonstrating and obviously now done something silly.
This is a 2-goal turnaround. A shot for goal at one end's taken away. You go 140 metres down to the goal square, point blank, for a gift goal to Brisbane.
2 minutes to go before half-time. Extraordinary.
Well, and a bit of chat about it too.
More to come.
Gee, they're very lucky. Very lucky. It's a repeat free kick.
He's paid
There's another one because he got pushed over.
Unbelievable. Walk away. Unbelievable.
They had just built up a match-winning lead and they've coughed up 2 goals gifted to Cam Rayner. Extraordinary.
So 3 gift goals in the term.
Yeah, well, this is where the cool heads need to prevail. Because Cam Rayner's got, here we go.
This is the original one. So that's soft as butter.
That is
And here's the second one, Gaz. Have a look at the players coming in. And that's pretty soft as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they paid it there.
No, that's the one he paid.
He did pay it
That
there.
one right there. That's the first one was the softest one.
Jason, the first one, not only was it soft, it went the length of the ground while they were about to have another shot. This is sensational.
It's stunning umpire intervention. And the margin comes back to 15 points. And it's right back in the balance in the furor that has erupted around the MCG. And right around the football world, I think.
Well, they didn't look capable of working their way back into the game, the Brisbane Lions.
Let's just take it back to
But they're back in it now, Gaz, courtesy of this.
So Stengel's got the shot from 40 out.
Yeah.
If there's a turnover in the goal square at the other end, to run the ball the length of the ground for this,
that's just a
is
nudge.
as poor a decision
That
as
is,
you've seen.
that's just a nudge in the back that happens 1,000 times a
They
game.
had that to Stuart and Loman, which was just a push in the chest.
Yeah.
And then another turnover for that is an umpire that's just lost a bit of
Trouble with that one is he's done it right in front of the umpire, just come running in and pushed him over.
And I think that's soft as well, but Zach Guthrie's got it.
He's smarter than that.
Better than that.
He's
That's
smarter than that.
Stupid thing to do.
So a 15-point margin with a couple of minutes to play, and Neil with the clearance for the Lions. It'll land in open space. De Koning slipped over the top went Gallup. Stewart put his head over the ball, no free kick paid. Ball is loose for a moment. McCluggage, Will Ashcroft creates the play. Gallup and Dunkley and out the side. They're all being pursued. Dave Bailey confronted. Stewart got him. He got it to his boot and towed it away. No, he didn't.
Well, they're going to have a ball up. This is threatening to spill over.
They're not doing a very good job, I don't think.
I think he's saying he did get his foot to it.
So one umpire played holding the ball and the other calls for a ball up. It's a scramble at the source. Dangerfield got a hand in there.
Talk about a bit of unexpected theatre into this
The
context.
response is going to be really interesting now, isn't it? From the immediate 1 minute 20. We know what the response from the fans is. That's plain and clear. I'm not sure I've seen that happen too often either. A quelled holding the ball decision. Back into play. Blitz halves. McCluggage. Maybe the Lions re-energised. Neil. Waited for the right time. Loads up. Morris in front. Worked under it by O'Sullivan, Corey and Cameron.
He's got a mature head, hasn't he, for a young player with just a handful of games to his name.
Straight back from where it came down the line. Cameron realising quickly he wasn't in position to mark. He'll have to make do with the throw in. Chris Scott doing his best to show no reaction or response.
I think we're all in a little bit of shock here.
I can't ever remember seeing it, to be honest.
Back into play again. Blitz halves. Neil. Found a way forward. Ashcroft off the left. It was wonky. Could still succeed with Dunkley. Bailey. Tripping that fine line. And it's back over and out. So 28 set. We need half time.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if Brisbane can find a way to fashion another goal here, they go to half-time with all the momentum when they looked almost dead and buried.
It was 27 points with a shot at goal coming.
Yep.
It's 15 points and maybe a shot at goal coming for the Lions. Dunkley got it to the top of the square. Gallup couldn't quite gather. Stewart had it grabbed away from him. What a smother by De Koning. Charlie gets another look, popped it up in the air. Martin dragged down. Play on was the call. Blitzarves trying to clear the area for Close. He's got runners out wide, and Martin should see off the last of the second. Have a listen to the reaction when this siren sounds. So there are three coaches with a lot to do. Chris Scott to settle his team, Chris Fagan to plot their way back, and the umpires coach to get involved and settle all of that down. It's 15 points Geelong's way at half-time after a rather stunning turn of events. Harris Andrews has been central to all of this, and Cameron Mooney is with him.
Well, Harris, a little bit happening there. As you said, you're too far away from it. You need to get a little bit closer, but that was a big turnaround then, wasn't it?
Yeah, I watched it on the big screen. I'm not really too sure, to be honest with you, but we'll take it.
What happened in that second quarter, you got on top of them, but that last 10 minutes, they just started to swing back their way.
Yeah, their pressure around the ball's unreal. We knew that was going to be the case coming in, so we need to absorb that a little bit better, get the game played that front half, and go about the business.
What did you have to do in that start of that second quarter to change your game to stop Jeremy Cameron or interrupt him?
Yeah, he's obviously one of the gun forwards of the comp, so I think we have to do a better job as a back six, not necessarily the guy that's on him, so we'll be looking to do that.
All right, mate, good luck for the second half. Thanks, mate.
Extraordinary scenes here at the MCG. 15 points to margin in favour of the Geelong Footy Club. They kicked 4 unanswered goals. They cracked it open to 27. They're lining up for a fifth. And then all hell broke loose. Jonathan Brown, Nathan Buckley and Jordan Lewis. We've got a game on our hands.
Extraordinary scenes, Gaz. I don't think I've seen anything like that. And obviously the talking point is this umpiring controversy. They were soft decisions, those final two to Cam Rayner. First one against Kai Lohman, Tom Stewart in the first quarter, but 3 of their goals to keep them in it have come from the umpiring.
We'll go through them in a moment, but your first thoughts, Spucks?
Disgraceful. I'm not a Cat supporter, but I was angry. That was ridiculous. It's a final. That is so soft.
All right, we'll have a look at it in a minute, but just in general, the game, Geordie.
Oh, I mean, Brisbane are lucky to be in it, and they're unaided by those couple of free kicks, but Geelong have been the dominant. So I thought Brisbane have panicked a little bit, to be honest. They've overcommitted with the ball in hand, and they've overcommitted defensively, and Geelong have just been too clinical.
All right, let's talk you through it here, because we've seen a lot of footy between the four of us, but what happened in that, particularly that last few minutes, there was that one early in the piece that was soft too. This was Stewart v Lohman in a final. You're going to make some contact as a defender and a forward. A forward will initiate that as much as a defender.
How often's that happened in a game of footy, Gaz?
Yeah, hundreds, but this is the one. So he's lining up for goal at the other end of the ground here.
To go 35 points up.
To go 35 up and kick 5 in a row. The goal's kicked. Guthrie makes an idiotic mistake anyway, but not enough really to have this turn, and they get another goal from the goal square.
They lost control. They really did, the umpires, and rightly. I mean, we were getting abused as commentators from the crowd. The crowd was angry, and rightly so. This just shouldn't have happened. I don't know. I told him where to go. But it just shouldn't have happened. So this is important. Half-time's important for both teams, especially Geelong, when they were well in control, to now come in and calm down, because that was out of their control.
Yeah, we understand how emotion plays such a big part. When there's so much riding on it, emotion carries positive emotion, momentum, or negative emotion the other way. How each of these sides handle this half-time, these 20 minutes they have to themselves to be able to reconcile what has happened in throughout that first half, but in particular in the last 5 minutes, how the coaches handle it. We know they're the two best coaches in the
So you're talking about that. This is what you're talking about right now. Chris Scott is going to be absolutely pivotal in how he handles probably this first 2 or 3 minutes. And from a Brisbane Lions point of view, they're just sitting there grinning.
Absolutely, but remain calm. That would be the message from Chris Scott. Your game is in fantastic shape. They have absolutely suffocated and hunted Brisbane Lions almost into submission if it wasn't for those free kicks.
And that was addressing it right there, right before you go in your divisional meetings, so that there's this is how we're going to approach it. This is our collective mindset of what's happened in the first half. I'm not going to wait for you to ruminate on it for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to get the message across right here, right now, and it's probably already about what they're doing mechanically to pull Brisbane apart, and that's what we're going to go back and focus on for the second half.
And that's what we will do as well. Dangerfield, the leadership group, important. The 15-point margin here at halftime, a sensation at the MCG. The Cats had split them open, then a 2-goal turnaround to Cameron Rayner. That's a 15-point margin. We'll tell you how it happened on the other side of this.
You're watching Finals Footy on Fox.
All right, there we go, half-time, and what action was presented to us only moments before The final siren, Eddie G, I tell you what, 8-11-59 the Cats, 7-2-40 for the Lions, 15-point margin here, the Cats leading. As I said, what were they, 27 points, 28 points up, kicking for goal. Wow, and then the ball went down the other end. I tell you what, that was soft. The full back gave the full forward of Brisbane just a little nudge, and the full forward, he just fell over. Come on. Free kick, one end of the ground to the other, 2-goal swing. But then Guthrie came in and just gave him a big hip and shoulder, put him to the ground. That was there, I think. I think that'd be paid every day of the week for another free kick in front of goal. So that was the two, but the first one, I think the push off the ball in that first free kick that you probably saw, I think that was there also, just taking him out of play when the ball was nowhere close to him. But that one in the goal square, holy Toledo Batman. There we go. Just when Geelong was starting to absolutely rip Brisbane apart, 1, 2, 3, 4 goals within about 3.5 minutes, the Cats looked like they were set for their 5th goal. And that certainly swung the momentum and swung it back to the Brisbane Lions. 14 points, could have been 6 goals ahead, but they're only, 2.5 goals or so in front now, 15 points. Worst free kick of the year, absolutely. Look, I tell you what, they're talking, as I was saying, 3 coaches will be talking to their players, and I think 2 coaches will be talking to their respective teams, and the other coach will be the coach of the umpires. Settle down, umpires, settle down. There we go. It was interesting. One umpire called a drop in the ball. One umpire said, no, he got a boot to it. I mean, that's probably fair enough. That's right. He did get a kick to it. So that's right. Just ball it up there. But, yeah, geez, that goal, that was a 3-goal turnaround swing to the Brisbane Lions. I tell you what, that has kept them in the game. If the Lions, can you imagine if the Lions get up by a goal or, a goal at the end of this game, it'll be all pointing back to that. And not possibly that first free kick, but the second one where the Geelong player, Guthrie, I think, ran in and just bowled him over. Cam Rayner bowled him over. That was just idiotic by that Geelong player. And they should have more brains than that. Anyway, tell you what, it does make for a more interesting game. A lot tighter game, 15 points instead of about 36 points. So, we'll look, as a footy fan, we're going to be pretty happy that it's back to 15 points. Look, the Cats were doing everything right there. They were just tearing Brisbane apart, as I was saying. They just put Brisbane under pressure, and Brisbane were just struggling. So we'll come back and have a look at the goal scorers, the stats in a moment, the player stats. But we're just going to head back to the commentators now, and they'll give a little bit of a wrap up on the opening half, and then we'll come back to the player stats.
Point margin, kick 4 in a row, and then huge controversy which ended up in back-to-back goals to Cam Rayner. Don't go anywhere. Nessa's got plenty to play out here. The magnificent MCG in September. There's no better place to be. Let's go to our Samsung highlights, boys. The game was in this state of flux. It was in a bit of an arm wrestle. Berry had kicked the goal. They were 1 point down. Brisbane looked like they're coming. And all of a sudden, it was like a penny drop from a Geelong point of view. We can't keep bombing the ball in here. We can't keep going to Harris Andrews because he's ruining everything. And it took this kick from Sean Manor for the light bulb to go on.
I saw a little bit of this early on the first quarter when they looked really good. But there's 4 quick goals and really probably established on the scoreboard what should have been the real difference in the game. It wasn't until those late free kicks. They were really good, low in the eyes again. Short, sharp passes inside 50.
We've got to remember that Geelong hadn't kicked a goal this quarter until that one, until the DeConing goal, and then they went bang, bang, bang. The ability, there was actually a mess up in their rotations. They had 7 defenders. They got the 6-6-6 warning. Humphries came out to the wing, and Jack Bowes went forward, kicked the goal, and then set the next one up. So they were able to dominate that 5-minute period and put the gap in the scoreboard that we felt there was in the game.
Samsung highlights powered by Gemini there. They were powered 4 goals. It was going to be 5, but as we've already spoken about in half-time, it got turned around. Jeremy Cameron started like a house on fire, boys. He had more shots at goal in the first quarter than it's ever happened in a final.
Yeah, well, Leicester was his main matchup, and quite honestly, we spoke pre-game about how Leicester's done really well on Jeremy Cameron, but, I mean, this was the impressive part of his game. It wasn't necessarily marks on the lead, it was the pack marks. It was the ability to get in behind, and I thought a lot of the Geelong forwards got in behind the defenders of Brisbane with speed on the ball further afield. This matchup had to change at quarter time, so he goes off and Gardner goes on to Cameron in the second quarter. Kept him a little bit quieter than he was in the first quarter, but he was pivotal, presenting contested marks. He had 3 contested marks in the first quarter, 5 marks in total. He was enormous.
They took 8 marks inside 50 in the first quarter, the Cats.
And Cameron took 4 alone.
It's a real problem.
Which is, again, part of the issue with Shannon Neal and Harris Andrews is that Neal started taking Andrews into places that made it harder for Jeremy Cameron in that second quarter. So, in the end, Harris is beating Shannon Neal and also impacting on Jeremy Cameron.
So I think that's a challenge. You see Shannon Neal's positioning sometimes, and I think he needs to engage Harris Andrews a little bit more and get him further up the field away from that particular match. If they can isolate him, he'll be dominant against Gardner as well. I think he's great in the air, but I think there's a pattern within the Geelong forwards. They're getting in behind the Brisbane defenders, and I think Jeremy Cameron has been a beneficiary of that as well.
Ollie Dempsey, Bucks, is as good a player at sneaking forward as anyone.
Yeah, well, just what Geordie was talking about, is Cats are getting offside on the Brisbane defenders. They're trying to make them as accountable as they possibly can. One of the things they're doing is they're crossing wings. So the Cats are coming towards camera here, and Dempsey's on this wing. So he's crossed wings. They've actually lost his stoppage, and Lions have gone forward. And Dempsey's just sat there and stayed. And this is tactical. It would be a matter of saying that our back 6 or 7 can handle this, and we're going to try and get offside against the Lions' defence. And it's worked for the most part. They're setting up with 6 forwards forward of the ball a lot of the time, when usually Sean Manor would be there. And he's going up periodically, but I think it's a real focus for the Cats forwards to keep the Lions defenders accountable, and then at least go into even numbered or potentially +1 forward line.
I thought the first 10 to 15 minutes of the second quarter was Brisbane's best period of footy. It was Bailey getting on the move on Holmes. It was Neal getting through stoppage. And they are relying on ball movement. Everything is coming through ball movement, so they need to take risks.
Yeah, you're right, Gaz. 4 goals from back half. So the few times that we actually saw an aggressive ball movement straight ahead, we didn't see it enough. So Brisbane normally can go quickly, straight back at you. Geelong have done a fantastic job to cover off the exits, to pressure up where the ball is at that time. So these are the few times we're able to see that quicker ball movement. That was on the back of a little bit of a mistake, a good come forward. See that aggressive kick? Geelong haven't allowed much of that in the first half, so it's limited Brisbane scoring.
Yeah, so that was a change with Darcy Ford. He didn't go long down the line with Blixards. He wanted to challenge me in the middle of the ground, got the mismatch up with Manor, but it's been few and far between that type of ball movement from Brisbane.
Well, those runs there are actually when Geelong have been able to slow them, and they haven't been able to get the uncontested marks, and they're prepared to go not long down the line, but long down the corridor, and it's actually resulted in a couple of goals. But Geelong have defended well, and the way they've defended is by forcing the Lions defenders to do more work in defence. They haven't had as much juice coming back the other way.
And by tackling. 51 tackles in a half, the most tackles they've ever had in a half of footy.
And high 80s percentage efficiency as well. Every chance they've got to stick one, they've stuck
a lot of smothers as well. Bucks made the comment watching the first quarter. They're on their toes, the Cats.
Yeah.
They've been on their toes the whole first half, and they've got the matchups right as well. Critical matchups. We come in the game. McCluggage and Rayner, probably their 2 prime movers, especially in the front half, and they've been completely nullified. Now, Rayner got those 2 goals late.
So had one touch outside of there.
Absolutely. McCluggage had about 5 or 6 ineffective touches late in that second quarter. So Mullen's done an outstanding job on him, old school tagging, and obviously O'Connor's done a fantastic job on Rayner's. They are great matchups. That's a win in the coach box for the Cats.
Yeah, there's upside all over the joint, I reckon. Bailey Smith's got upside. Logan Morris has got upside. There's a lot of players that haven't had an impact. It's been quite a remarkable half of footy, but none more so than the last 4 or 5 minutes, John. Ralph, thanks to Maytronics. You've seen a lot of footy too, Ralphie. Not sure you can see much that's going to match that.
This was extraordinary. Greg Swan will be absolutely losing his mind as the AFL's new football boss. He came in with a mandate to try and bring back common sense to the AFL, to try and get rid of these kind of own goals. He is the head of the umpires, and he's been preaching discretion. Don't insert yourself into the game. Let's roll through it. He came in with this kind of attitude, and instead, well, we see this free kick down the ground. Heaven forbid what would happen if this game was decided by a couple of points, and we saw Chris Scott in a post-match press conference. This is not a free kick in the pre-season. This is not a free kick in a final, and it's certainly not one when Stengel has the ball on his boot to take the game to a 33-point margin. So instead, we get umpires who lose all common sense, and then the second goal. Again, where is your feel for the game here? So an AFL umpire's probably cost himself a week 2 umpiring slot, and the AFL brings itself back into the game after, let's face it, one of the worst years for the AFL administration. Let's hope, for Geelong's sake, they can find a way to win this game, because this was an absolute catastrophe.
Well, don't go anywhere, Ralphie, because we might need you post-game, depending on the result. Zach Guthrie's not going to enjoy it. I just want to make that, don't give the umpire the opportunity to make that secondary decision. Everyone in the ground, 90,000 people are looking at you going, don't go to, wait, you're not going to achieve anything other than potentially what happened.
Yeah, that's right. Look, as a Lions supporter, you love the goals, but it's a shocking decision. You know what I mean? Like, it's disappointing that umpires get involved, but you're right. You've got to show maturity in that situation when it's gone against you. Let's see what happens in the second half.
You know what we're going to do is, you three elder statesmen of the game, we're going to move on.
Yeah.
There's a half a footy to be played.
Well, the Cats need to move on, don't they?
They do, and we can dissect it all post-game, but we've got a half a footy here. Preliminary final, as I said, at stake here, Chris Scott. Had to coach hard, I'd imagine, during this half-time break, but they lead the Brisbane Lions by 15 points.
You're watching Finals Footy on Fox.
All right, there we go. A little bit of a wrap-up. Hey, Vish was in the house. If you're still there, Vish, hey, shouty. Tina's in the house as well. There we go. Look, they're talking about the umpires, but, how about the players take a little bit of responsibility? Don't do these stupid acts that are going to raise the eyebrows of the umpires to give a free kick, and then it wouldn't happen. I think they're blaming the umpires, but you know what? Let's blame the players. Players are the ones who actually did the act. So wise up. As I said, show a little bit of maturity on your heads. Some of the young Geelong players there, the young players out on the ground. Hey, let's go and have a quick look at the stats. Let's have a look at the players' stats and the goal scorers, because we're only just about 3 minutes away before the bounce of the ball. For the second half, Cam Rayner, tell you what, after those 2 gimme goals, he tops the table for Brisbane with Kai Lohmann, both with 2 apiece, Jasper Fletcher, Charlie Cameron, Jared Berry, all with singles. And, of course, for the caddies, the Putty Cats, Oliver Dempsey, Jeremy Cameron, both with 2. Jezza didn't trouble the scoreboard in that second term, 2 goals, 3 in the opening term. Tommy Stewart come for 1. I think they were saying that's just his 3rd goal in a couple of years. Well done. Mullins got 1. Sam DeConey and Jake Bowles has got 1 as well. Let's quickly duck over and have a look at the ball magnets. Lockie Neal, he's getting in and amongst it. 20, the only one in the 20s so far. He's having a big game. Him and Dane Zorko on 17. Josh Dunkley, the big guns are up and firing for Brisbane, 17 as well. Oliver Dempsey, the best for the Geelong Cats, on 15 for him. And then it comes down to Jasper Fletcher. Will Ashcroft on 14. There we go. Looking at the Cats, though, 15 is their top possession getter. 12 is the next Blixars, and Tommy Stewart on 11. Maxi Holmes still quiet in this game. He's only had the 11 so far. He's had 4 clearances. Getting his hands on the ball a little bit. Needs to lift a little bit. Paddy Dangerfield up to 9, up to half-time. Bailey Smith, I'd like to see a little bit more from him. Hasn't been the explosive Bailey Smith that we normally come to see. Maybe in the second half we might see that from him. Calamachi, just the 8. Graham Myers was 7 with Hugh McCluggage. Hugh McCluggage is having a quiet one. He's been well held. All right, let's just roll on down. We'll just have a quick look at the team stats in just a moment. Kai Lohmann, just the 4 touches, 2 kicks, but he has kicked 2 goals, folks. He's kicked 2 goals. And, of course, Charlie Cameron, tell you what, he's been quiet. After the first minute of the game where he kicked the first and opening goal, he still only had 2 possessions, 1 kick, 1 handball. Shannon Neal, tell you what, he hasn't had a kick. That's incredible. The young star forward for the Catters, he just had 1 possession, 1 handball, 3 tackles and 2 hit-outs. Let's have a quick look at the team stats. Well, there we go. Disposals overall, plus 13 there to the Lions. Inside 50s, Cats still well and truly on top. They're plus 8, restricting Brisbane just down to 21, 33-21. 19 scoring shots for the inside 33 times. So that's fantastic going. And of course, the Brisbane Lions, 21 insides for 9 scoring shots. efficiency at about 70-71 for both teams. Free kicks, well, there's a couple of odd ones there. There we go. 10-9, pretty even in the free kicks. The hit-outs, the Lions winning there. 28-8. Clearances at Putty Cats, centre clearances. The Cats absolutely dominating in that area. 8-2. Thank your mother for the Rabbits. Doing well there. Cats, stoppage clearances. The Lions, +4 around the ground. Contested, there we go. She's pretty even, 71-64, and as the uncontested. So no one really controlling the ball too much. It's just a cracking game. Marks all tied up, 50-49, but the Cats, as I said before, they look dangerous going inside forward 50, creating a lot more space, more dangerous than the Lions, 12-3. Just want to have a look at this tackle count. There we go. This is what we're talking about. Finals footy, folks. Pressure, pressure, pressure. That's what we're always talking about leading up into the finals. 51-24, 10-3 inside 50 tackles. All right, that's enough for me. Let's get back down to the ground for the third quarter, where it's the Cats by 15.
The Geelong response. Feels like he's a long kick, but he was very keen to pass off. Neil made his move. He was sensational in that second quarter. Sean Manor has been an amazing pickup. Took their time with him last year. He found his way. 28 goals, 19 this year in 20 games, even though his season started late. The so-called best young player in the competition this year. Oh, it's going to fall short. Oh, close for a moment. And then another. The Stengel, and it fades away for a behind.
Serious floater.
Berry got it quickly from Zorko and brings it out with good penetration. Don't be jackknifed as he landed.
Stay there, Grind. Stay there, Grind.
Geelong scramble down the line and Dangerfield reaches in. Bailey Smith after a quiet first half to Atkins. Just searching for the right target. Doesn't want to waste it and blaze. Just a bit too long as he dwelt over it.
Love that from Dangerfield. So there's lots of things that have happened at the half-time. A lot of emotion. You go to your leaders. Your leaders are the ones that are going to come back out and say, right, let's just play what's in front of us. And that Patrick Dangerfield there, big smother, big time moment. It's what you're after.
DeConing's racking against Forts. Manor getting busy underneath. Some sort of disposal away. Neil didn't find Berry initially. Berry stayed in the contest. Dangerous leapt for it, but then coughed it up. Zorko, clever kick, dangerous. Good mark, Dunkley, as Guthrie was coming at him. The release to Neil and inboard to Berry, links it up to Fletcher. The overlap run comes from McCluggage to open space for Day, stretching and marking. He's got Lohman deep in the square if he wants to chance his arm. As the numbers all get back. He does kick toward Lohman. He didn't do him any favours. Brought to ground. Stewart will get a free kick.
It's a horrible kick. All he basically did was kick out Tom Stewart.
Horrible kick, wasn't it? Geelong fans loved it, though.
Have a listen to that reaction. Myers.
So we need an ISO camera on Rayner and O'Connor, boys, because it's going to be a lot of fun today.
So, a little low by his standards. Certainly had more influence on the game than Bailey Smith. The Cats' prime midfielders. Blitzards makes himself dangerous, pushing wide. Dangerfield just floats down to the goal square, ready to come up to the footy. Oh, and he wasn't far off. Fort did well under the circumstances. Neil back to Blitzards. He had Myers instead, just a hack kick inside again. Seen plenty of that tonight. Fletcher, Andrews, seen plenty of him too, but Holmes in position to mark again, which he can't quite do. Blitzards, a real flow about the Cats move forward on that occasion. We'll have the ball up.
16-point margin in the Cats' favour. Holmes getting busy at the back of the stoppage. Lohman got him, forced him to drop it. Day and Lohman combine. Optimistic hand pass. Atkins had it well scouted. Sets it up to Bailey Smith. So the centre of the ground belongs to the Cats here. Guthrie, he'll use it up for Cameron to the front. Couldn't quite hang on. Gardner did just enough. Andrews under pressure from Neil. Starcevic is the extra. Caught by Cameron. No whistle. Neil keeps on. Dumped to ground by Andrews. Still no whistle. Starcevic. Neil now a whistle for a throw.
Well, you've got some passion in it now. The crowd are heavily invested.
It's the duty of the home crowd. It's the advantage of having it in your own state, if not at your own grounds.
Tyson Stengel's got to remember what they did late in this second quarter.
He is going to try. Never really on. Dangerfield made it possible. Atkins. Blitzards on the snap. Floats it through. A crafty goal for tonight's makeshift ruckman, who's done it all through the journey.
So, save for the 2 goals that we and will continue to be debated and talked about for a long, long time, this has been a really dominant period from a Geelong point of view. They kicked 4 in a row, they were looking at their 5th. We know what happened late in that quarter, the 2 got handed over. But Blitzards now has effectively has kicked their 5th, if you like, without the intervention of the umpires on the 2 Rayner goals. So they're in good shape here.
Yeah, look, they are. And I want to go back to, look, I said they're investing too heavily in risk. They've got the ball at half forward, the Brisbane Lions, and Kyle Oman goes for a over-the-shoulder, behind-the-head, risky hand pass back into the corridor with 3 Geelong players around the 1 Brisbane Lions player. They turn it over and it comes down the other end.
It's a great kick. It's a great finish from Blitzards.
What an all-rounder. There's the premium on that first goal. Given the emotions around the MCG. Smith, can he impart some real impact in this game? Blitzards again. Whatever it takes. Cameron, Myers, Stengel, and close for waiting, but Archie is down and dirty, clears it out. Holmes paces back for it. Guthrie makes the run to try and get something constructive going. Tagged by Cameron.
So Huey McCluggage, who still can't, he's only had the 8 possessions. Just wondering whether he can maybe change the matchup on Mullen and go to someone else. Just get O'Shea Mullen thinking about something a bit different.
It's by 22. Fort pulls it away. Zorko by hand. It was a good one. Bailey, we know the danger. Guides it to Morris. Quick, smart. Ashcroft charging forward. Rayner. He earned that one. It won't be a popular goal with a home crowd, but it will be cheered by Brisbane fans everywhere. Raiders kicked his 3rd.
Well, he's obviously getting plenty from the Cats supporters at that end, and he gave a little bit back, Gaz. Do you like it?
Well, I just want to see whether he was just prepared to write the cheque here. I don't think he was giving it the Bailey Smith treatment, but he's standing in the goal square right in front of the Geelong cheer squad. So you can imagine, well, you would know.
They have been giving it to
anyone. And here he is. It's a good matchup deep against O'Connor. Oh, no, he's just giving it a bit of quiet down. A little bit of quiet down, if you don't mind. This is a matchup, though. I know he got a couple gifted to him, but he's a very, very difficult second half proposition.
And take him deep, try and get him one out. It wasn't a great kick from Ashcroft. There was a helicopter coming in, but he was strong enough to keep his eye on the footy. Had O'Connor.
You need to calm down. You're being too loud. The scrambler's on in the middle. Will Ashcroft squirts a kick. Neil's worked forward. He'll have a look at the deep targets and then pull it short. Not on the same page, Charlie.
He had to go straight to Rayner. Rayner's feeling it. Yeah. He's got a yard or 2 on O'Connor. He had to ask the question to Mark O'Connor again.
He had to go on a couple of his forwards like Neil Gas. He was demanding that they come up at the footy.
Myers, long on the way out. Dunkley, good trap. Equally well done. Dempsey, O'Sullivan fought the tackle, got caught, that's only the ball.
She's now we've got a final, boys. Now we've got a final here. Every action's got a consequence. Big moment from Dunkley, big moment from Dempsey, big tackle here.
Lions turn in that decisive 3rd quarter in the preliminary final. Will Ashcroft has been hugely influential the past couple of meetings against the Cats in home and away footy. Well, Bailey Smith went to spoil rather than the intercept mark. It's okay. O'Sullivan, Guthrie and Dempsey make it so. It's a kick down the line, though, to the next contest, and Dangerfield rises gracefully and takes off powerfully. He's kicking for Bowes. Levi Ashcroft's his marksman. Ball clears them and the race is on. Bowes leads to it. Good gather. Pumps the hand pass too strong for Jess initially. He got something on it to keep it alive. Nana might be the beneficiary. There's a stare down with Fort. Cameron just a bit stung in the back play.
Did well do it, Darcy Ford. He couldn't rush Sean Manor. He would have gone right round him, so just stood him up. 450 stoppage. Been hard to come by goals here.
And the tension grows. For Leicester. Starcevic. Neil, which way out? Dunkley. Morris. Oh, no, Sullivan. They've made their cases. Humphreys. Angler as he kicks it nicely. Is it 15? It's not. Mullen gets the answer. And McCluggage gets a chance for a bit of retribution.
We're doing that all day, are we? Thank you.
Short as your words. Up against the line. Cats lead 16. Neil, you can see his determination, his refusal to give in.
So the clearance game's really closed up. It's even now. They were getting belted early, the Brisbane Lions. They've worked hard to get it back at level pegging. The only thing that is out of whack is centre bounce, which is 10-3 in favour of the Cats.
From the throw-in, Salves jarred clear from behind. Wilmot ran into Dangerfield. So we had that prolonged 15 minutes in the second term, which was really the hand-to-hand combat stage before all hell broke loose. Dangerfield able to release. Holmes needs support. Tumbled it up the line. Mullen worked it around. Bailey Smith up to the forwards to get after. Andrews was well set in the middle in defence. Zorko dragged out of it. Free kick's been penalised.
So Zorko has been really creative and won a lot of footy, but he's also got manner, or manner's gone to Zorko, whichever way you want to frame it. So he's got a couple of things he has to think about now. It's been good coaching from Chris Scott.
Crowd's mind not changed by the replay. Some holding, it's not like that though. It's going back to O'Sullivan. It's a slow play. Dangerfield, he doesn't believe in slow. Reluctantly though, accepts his fate. Now he's off too quickly. Brilliant from Dunkley. Sets them in motion. Bailey, McCluggage, hard run, hard gallop. Short to Rayner. It's Cameron one-on-one inside 50. Oh, Bailey beheaded. Umpire didn't see it. Now he's going to play holding the ball.
Yeah, well done, umpire. Very well umpired.
Atkins out wide to Myers as the Cats look to push their advantage.
What about Dunkley? What about the smother from Dunkley?
Stumble just came on the bench and another one.
But again, it's an opportunity for Brisbane, and they're just hell-bent on playing this play on at all costs. Have to go, and ran themselves into trouble.
I don't reckon they're going to change, Jace. No. I think that's their only way forward here, and they're not going to die on the vine.
Dunkley pledged to serve in every way needed. Will Ashcroft tried to find Levi. He's got a little bit of work to do. Manor kept it away from him. Lester ran the gauntlet. It's tight between the arcs, isn't it?
Hold the meter.
It's by 16. We've gone 12 minutes of this third term. Salves trying to emerge with it. No, couldn't quite keep it in. Goal apiece thus far in the third term. Chris Scott 4 and 6 in qualifying finals. The 11th time he's got the Cats into the top 4. Bailey Smith combines with Myers up to full forward. Cameron hurdles in from the side. Stengel trying, Lester keeping him away. Neil and past it just indiscriminately. Starcevic fought it out. Lester and Zorko and Dunkley, and Zorko was clever stuff. Downfield comes to Rayner. Bailey.
Not Rayner this time.
Stuck in the head.
Hasn't found much of it, Levi Ashcroft. Just possession number 8 for him.
He's thrived on some midfield time over the last few weeks in the absence of Neil. At the side, he almost kicked a goal there, Zorko. Andrews keeps calm. Good advice on a night like tonight. Gardner. And then Archie.
Just probing, trying to find a way through here.
There's the kick. The Cats predicted it well. Bowes cutting it off, and the pass. Forward it goes from close. Oh, Bailey Smith. The hair, the flare. Let it all hang out. Big goal from Bailey.
So good learn lessons, and the Geelong Footy Club in the last 3 outings against this side have been cut up from the back half. They've been hurt really badly by Brisbane's ability to move the footy from their defensive half. Today they've been on it from the opening bounce. We saw it in the opening minute when Stengel was aware to cut off. Jason's alerted us to it. They're going to keep going. They'll keep coming in here. Watch Bose here, the little kick. This little one there. Don't blaze away, just a little touch kick. Gets over to Bailey and the goals kick. This is a win for preparation and execution.
I love how the Cats tease. They sit off. They know that the Lions want to pull the trigger on these aggressive kicks, and they just stay close enough to read it and get there at the last moment, and they're creating these turnovers. They're preying on that risk investment that the Lions are making.
Cats by 22. Middle stages now of the third term. De Koning tried to knock it down. Bailey, though, rejected it. It's off to Dunkley. Gave it straight up to Holmes. Stepped off his line and then ran around Lohman and pumps the Cats forwards. Martin set himself. It'll be all about the crumb. Fletcher controlled it well. Levi Ashcroft and fought and back to Levi and up to Dunkley. Knocked it on to Wilmot. Myers had him cold. Dispossessed him. Stewart fights on. Levi Ashcroft kept a hand in the way. As burrowing in was Dunkley fearlessly.
I can't remember seeing a team play as relentless and aggressively attacking style as Brisbane are tonight.
51 tackles in the first half, Jace. They're up to 59 here. It's unbelievable from the Cats.
Stewart set for the intercept mark.
He's back to the Tom Shield of old, isn't he, tonight?
Humphries now a corner. Head out of fullback to get himself into it. He's dropped the mark and he's invited pressure from Rayner. Oh, sorry. The theatre of that. And the crowd lifts up out of their seats. Unbelievable. Cam Rayner won't take a backward step in any of it. And O'Connor sends it down the line. Berry came back. Bailey Smith knocked it around. The boundary with Neil.
Yeah, the reality now, though, is that they've got to find a way forward. Apart from the two that were gifted to Rayner, it's been hard. They've been hard to come by. He's gone to ground at the wrong time for Cam Rayner, but 22-point margin, low-scoring game in a final. They've got to start hitting the scoreboard, the Lions.
Third quarters have been their thing this year, the Brisbane Lions, 16-7. In the premiership quarter, they've got to get going. They do get motoring. Lohman's hands back to Bailey. Now to Ashcroft. Waiting on the outside was Day. Cleverly enough. Bailey. Cameron's in the goal square. Can they get it to him somehow? Lohman has a long look and then maintain the focus to try and kick to Cameron. Humphries disrupted without giving away the free. Rayner again, the villain. No peace. Soccer. Guthrie close. Can't quite hang on to the mark. He does win the footy and sets Martin forward.
Martin unloads, so Neil against two. Andrews, so good.
Legend.
It's the wrong kick from Jack Martin. He had options. Charlie Cameron's got to find a way to get involved in this game.
Was he stiff not to get a free kick back there?
I don't think so.
Race it off to the sides.
It was a gilt-edged opportunity. Lohman looked inside. There were 4 Brisbane Lion players. He went to Charlie in the end and he couldn't draw a free kick.
Gardner follows through on his intention. They'll all fly. And gathered underneath and showing off to Neil from Leicester.
If you're a Geelong supporter, you're proud of the way they're pressured tonight.
Oh, it's been brilliant, hasn't it?
Yep, they want to get involved. They want to tackle and put Brisbane into uncomfortable positions.
Manna having a terrific night off to Holmes. Took him on. Broke the line but missed the hand pass. Martin back to Holmes. He might give it a fly. Both the Dashers have got goals in this third term. And Geelong dashed 28 points clear.
They've cracked it open and Chris Scott is coaching magnificently. He's just pushed Holmes to half back this last 10 minutes. He's been in the middle, he's gone to a wing and now he's said, no. We'll just now try and really stretch him from the back half, and he's had a really big say. He had his hands full at various times, Max Holmes with Zach Bailey on a couple of occasions. But I tell you what, he's a weapon off half back. Once he gets involved into a chain like this, he's probably the quickest player in the competition. And if he can get a 1-2 and get involved in a chain like that, then he's almost unstoppable.
It's
great coaching.
It's been a dominant performance from the Cats. I mean, they controlled the game in the second. Well, now there's 5 in the square. Oh, he got a little bit of leeway there from the umpire. But all they've done is reassert the dominance they had in the second quarter before circumstances conspired to give Brisbane a couple of goals.
Heavily cheered on in home base. Mullen. A little Irish dance to Atkins. Low ball inside 50. And there to be chopped off by Zorko. He just gets the kick away. Still they go through the middle. It's their way home. Wilmot. Cats were ready for him but couldn't stop them. Extended handball out wide. Well adapted Dunkley. Target not hit though. Gallup on the move. Can he kick a goal? No.
They've got all the answers, the Cats.
They do.
Defensively, it has been a supreme performance.
Henry's desperate lunge. 27-point margin. Guthrie. 2-on-1 against Blitzhouse. Fletcher hasn't marked. Starcevic used the numbers. Manor came in to get him.
That's a quality tackle, isn't it?
That's what we've been talking about here. They have committed to it. I would imagine it's been a real focus of theirs coming into the game. And they've executed brilliantly.
Will Ashcroft prize it away. Sits Brisbane up. O'Sullivan and Stewart trying to defend Archie to create. Henry gathered it in, got caught by Archie. Given a little latitude. Rayner with the field coming out. O'Sullivan got him, but he got clear. The ball he missed their sides.
A little bit single-minded, wasn't it? He had Logan Morris calling for the hand pass. He had a little bit more space, but the Bull just wanted to take them all on. He said, "You can't stop me."
What a goal it would have been.
I know there's about 20 players who've likened to Dusty over the years. He just might be the closest. He's not at the level, but the qualities.
26-point margin. Still can't get past this man.
They've been a hell of a lot of trouble without this bloke. They're in a lot of trouble anyway. They're going to find a way to get the scoreboard ticking over.
It's one goal for the quarter. Neil sends it deep. Leapers aplenty. Tap back cleverly by Gallup. Good tackle from Berry.
And Logan Morris is battling. He's had 5 touches, has been well beaten. And then you've got young Gallup and Sam Day going long and slow like that into this Geelong defence. It's got the Koenig and Stewart and Henry. It's not the way to go forward.
Day hands it off. Loman still searching. Atkins knew exactly where the boundary line was.
So time for a Lions goal. Red time. Kind of push back against the flow. Day opens it up to the top of the square. Gallup got dispossessed. Scrounge on hands and knees. Close, prize it out. Leicester just got past the outreached hand. Andrews is there though. Sets up Wilmot. Had time to search for the right target. Decided to go deep. They'll fly. Stewart the spoil. Bowes couldn't quite trap it. Instinctive stuff from Bailey off hands. Cooper rushed behind.
They just haven't got any answers going forward. The Brisbane Lions is very repetitive. Long kicks, hoping for something to happen. That was very speculative off the ground.
Margin only 25 though. Stewart's kick to the wing and Blitzhouse hangs into that one. Down the line for Stengel. Leicester survived the tackle just. Wilmot remained incredibly composed. Tries to put the handball together. Wades through. Ashcroft. Rayner accompanying every disposal. High ball for Morris. Stewart. Had the mark, I think.
Kick 14, kick a set mark.
To Holmes.
The wing has opened up for Holmes, who pumps it up to Dempsey. It's an open setup. Martin's got loose out the back. Dempsey's going to pump it in. Stengel, he split the difference. Terrible stuff.
Couldn't have kicked it worse, Jared.
It was harder not to get a goal than to get one there for the Cats. Zorko, a rare poor kick. Humphries the opportunity, but met by the front-on tackle. Will Ashcroft and Holmes grapple for it. Holmes hand passed hopingly. Day had other ideas. Archie just having difficulty getting hold of it. Does now. Morris.
Well, he finally gets a good look at a one-on-one, doesn't he? And it's a rare win for Logan Morris. I think O'Sullivan's been absolutely fantastic down back, but This young man does have a lot of talent. He finally shrugged off the opponent, able to take the mark. Needs this to try and get himself into the game.
Well, he tore him apart down at GMHBA. He was magnificent, kicked 5 goals and they didn't have an answer for him. But he wasn't confronted with the pressure ahead of the ball that he has been with tonight.
Last time on the G, he kicked 6 against Collingwood on that Saturday night. Team desperately needs him. Logan Morris. That will get something for the Lions to work with.
You mentioned that they haven't got any answers. They haven't when they go slow. When it's slow, and that's why this game plan has worked, is the pressure around the ball has been such that they haven't had these sorts of looks. But on one of the few occasions, this ball gets to the outside, and then they look up, and Logan Morris does get that one-on-one. Now, they'll keep going quick, as you know, we've talked about all day, and either to their detriment or not, I don't think they're going to die wondering. They'll keep going hard and quick. Maybe Logan Morris, you got to isolate him out, one out. They tried it with Rayner, they just couldn't get him enough looks, one out. But that's the only way forward, because Gallup's had a few moments and he's worth persevering with. It's going to be exciting along the line, and Sam Day's working as hard as he possibly can. But they're outgunned in the air forward of the ball.
Martin is only 19 now and will feel fragile. Bailey. Fierce attitude and determination to match his skill. Out to the wing. The other Bailey. Smith just bowls them over. Sets Dempsey, and now Holmes away. Dangerfield waiting in the goal square. Myers flicks it wide. Stengel, the lead comes from Mark.
Just great work from Bailey Smith at half-back. He just used his body, used his strength to push Lockie Neal off the ball. That's where he did it, got him in the side. Then the quick hand pass, and they were away. They had numbers overlapping.
The Cats, with their wonderful success, have had the luxury of playing the long game with this man, Jack Martin. Can he produce a quick answer? What is your answer?
So Holmes has had 9 touches, Bailey Smith's had 8, so they got rolling, the 2 hard runners. And Chris Scott made it work for Holmes from half-back and got him involved in a big way. He went back into the centre bounce then, so it's maximising what you've got at your disposal. And they do it brilliantly, the Cats.
It's a big couple of minutes. Berry pumps it in long. Fawkes stood manfully in the pack. And a quick look inboard. Wilmot was being manned by Cameron, though. So safer to send it down the line and see if Lohman can have a fly. Had plenty of company. Levi Ashcroft gets it moving. McCluggage knocked it on rather than taking possession. Bailey shut down by Bailey, so a double shot of Bailey's. About this time on a Saturday night feels right.
See that long one here, Brisbane. This would just line it back up again, put the game back into a real contest.
Myers out the side to Dempsey, release the hand pass to Banner. Doesn't have a whole lot down the line to work with. Sets it up, bit short of Cameron. Gardner, get it going. Zorko, Will Ashcroft, checks his kick. Guthrie got in front of Cameron. And then look at the free kick.
I think that's sort of night for Charlie Cameron. Just a couple of possessions. He ran into an open goal very early on in the night, but no impact since, and he didn't touch the ball after shepherding his opponent out. That's why the free kick was paid.
Dempsey got it off the pack, lofted it. Stengel made the contest, and Holmes races onto it. They're wide open again. Martin will get it out the back, and he'll bang it home. Jack Martin strikes, and the Cats get the late one in the third term.
And Max Holmes has put his stamp on the game in this third quarter. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's been magnificent in actual fact. We know his athleticism, but his run and carry means that every possession is a 70, 80 metre possession. And again, he cruises through here, and then Martin comes into play. Not many players will come into play. This was smart from Stengel. I reckon he just dropped that at his feet. And then just the Rolls Royce runs onto it and whacks it 65 metres. He doesn't break stride. Does not break stride, Jack Martin. Max Holmes been phenomenal this quarter.
They had numbers. I mean, if it wasn't Holmes, it would have been Blitzarves. They had the first 2 players following the ball in. Brisbane Lions trailing behind them, just working hard at the Cats.
Still a minute to go. to 25. Neil for Bailey. Not a real danger. Loman snaps it up. Day. O'Sullivan. Bowe's been more than handy. Driving kick for close. What can the Cats put together here late in the quarter? Dangerfield. Good target. Good call for him not to be paid. Great play. Oh, is this going to be a goal? Oh, maybe it was. Has Dempsey kicked that? Oh, that is fantasy football.
Hello's voice has gone with the ball here.
He's hit the half volley on the run.
He's flushed it.
They couldn't have struck it better.
He flushed it.
That's not where Danger was trying to kick the footy, but he nearly kicked a magnificent goal. And just when it looked like it mightn't end up being a goal for the Cats, who should arrive on the spot?
Well, we asked, for the game's sake, maybe it was Brisbane that kicked the goal to bring it back to life, and they've gone bang, bang. Beautifully done. That sums up Ollie Dempsey right there. It sums up what he's become as a footballer. A hard runner who times his run forward as well as anyone, and then flushes it on a half volley.
You should have seen that ball drop from Danger. It went sideways onto his boot.
In the preliminary final it was Myers and Henri, and this time it's Danger. They've got the coach out of his seat too.
Wow. Look at that.
And suddenly 31 points.
But that's a margin, Jared, now that reflects the difference in the match. They have been dominant basically all night, apart from a few bits of individual brilliance from Brisbane.
When Ashcroft towed it forward, Loman got it high.
Well, you look at the last two goals in the second quarter, it was Rainer in controversial circumstances. They've gone bang, Martin Dempsey.
Got to get a mark. Cameron's their man. Charlie couldn't quite hang on. Myers harried him.
See, they're the efforts that you just take for granted with the Cats. Like Brian Myers there working in defence.
Cats by 31 in an emotion-charged atmosphere at the G. 13-12-90 to Brisbane, 9-5-59 at three-quarter time. Tomorrow it's Elimination Day. In Sydney, the Giants and Hawthorn, two teams with big prospects, but only one goes on. And after the intensity of that, the amusement of bounce, then we'll head to Perth. Fremantle back in finals. Gold Coast get their first look at September. And then all the best analysis immediately afterwards on First Crack. What a super Saturday it'll be.
All right, folks, there we go. Three-quarter time here at the MCG on a chilly evening. 6 degrees at the MCG. The Cats doing it well. I tell you what, the Lions, they've got no answers for the might of the Cats this evening. 13-12-90. The Geelong Cats, the Brisbane Lions, 9-5-59. 31-point margin here at three-quarter time. It's going to be mighty hard to see the Lions coming back. The Lions can only manage 2 goals, 3 in that third term. The Cats, however, 5 goals, 1. Kicking straight again. Look, I know Brisbane Lions, they haven't really had momentum, but the Cats, they just haven't allowed it. They've just been, they've been pretty dominant all night. To tell you what, the Cats have been hunting the Lions. The Putty Cats could be the king of the jungle after tonight. There we go. Tell you what, what's going to happen? Well, as I said, the third quarter was the Brisbane Lions quarter where they usually put on the score, but they couldn't tonight. And of course, that is through Geelong's pressure. And I'll tell you what, has been from start to here so far from the Cats. And I'll tell you what, they look like they're going to go on to take victory in this game. Look, the game is never over until the fat lady sings. But I tell you what, she's starting to warm up her vocals right now, folks. She's starting to warm up her vocals. 31 points. I could see it against another team, which, they had momentum swings. But in this game, the momentum swing has all been towards the Geelong Cats this evening. Let's just double back and have a look at the goal scorers now. Up until three-quarter time, Cam Rayner, 3 for the Lions. Kai Lohman with 2. Logan Morris, 1. Chipped in there, Jasper Flexion. Charlie Cameron, Jared Berry with 1. For the Cats, though, Oliver Dempsey, ring-a-ding-ding. He's got 3 for the Putty Cats. He leads their way. Jeremy Cameron, I'm tipping he'll probably bag a couple in the final quarter. He's got 2. Tommy Stewart. Bailey Smith bobbed up with 1. Mullins got 1. Jack Martin. Maxie Holmes also with 1. Sam DeConing, Jack Bowles and Blitzstars. There we go. Let's just have a look at the ball magnets. Zorko leading the way. At the top 4. Well, they're the big guns there for Brisbane, but still, the Cats, they're just dominating. 27 for Dane Zorko, 25, Lockie Neal, Josh Dunkley, 24, Oliver Dempsey, the best for the Caddies, on 22. Maxi Holmes starting to come into his own, a lot better third quarter from Max Holmes. He's up to 21. He's kicked 1-1, 5 clearances, 6 tackles. So he's starting to really get on song. Maxi Holmes there. Blitzar's having a great game, 18 disposals, 8 and 10. He's had 21 hit-outs, 6 clearances, kicked a goal. He's been fantastic. Bailey Smith starting to come into a little bit, also in that third term with a goal, 3 clearances, 4 tackles. Tell you what, the big guy, he could still fire in this final quarter. Don't worry about that. Paddy Dangerfield, I've liked the way he's gone about his game tonight. Been really strong in all his effort. I tell you what, he's got to be the hardest man to tackle in the AFL competition. It's just super tough to lay a tackle on him. Gackman, how you going? He's cheering for Brisbane. Good stuff. Game over for Brisbane. Yeah, I think it could be. You could be right there. Hugh McCluggage. I tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen Hugh McCluggage only with 9 disposals up until three-quarter time. The Cats absolutely putting him to sleep out there this evening. That is for sure and certain. All right, there are your stats. Shannon Neal for the Cats. Will he do something in the final quarter? I tell you what, that's dangerous for Brisbane too, because Shannon Neal's only had 3 touches, 3 handballs. He hasn't had a kick. Another weapon there. All right, let me get it back over here, folks. 31 points the margin. Three-quarter time. We're going to head back to the commentators. They'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the final quarter. Second qualifying final here. And, of course, don't forget, the winner of this game will have a week off. And, of course, the loser of this game tonight will play the winner of Fremantle and the Gold Coast. So there's a game coming up tomorrow. Don't forget tomorrow's action, folks. GWS Giants versus Hawthorn. That's going to kick off at 3:15 p.m. Melbourne time. We're going to cover that game. And, of course, later on that night, we'll see who Adelaide needs to play. Of course, they lost to Collingwood last night. Adelaide will either play Fremantle Dockers or the Gold Coast Suns in that game. Tomorrow night, 7:35, that game kicks off. But, of course, folks, from the loser of this game tonight, you'll play the winner of tomorrow's game, Giants and the Hawks. I think I've got that right. Giants and the Hawks, that is correct. I think that's right. No. You'll play the winner. The loser of tonight's game will play the winner of Fremantle and the Gold Coast. There we go. So it looks like Brisbane Lions so far, the way this game stands. You will play the winner of tomorrow's match between Fremantle and the Gold Coast. There we go. All right, folks, let's get back down to the action. Good luck for both teams. Can Geelong keep on this merry way? Can Brisbane have a miracle comeback? Let's find out.
He's only had 2. So a prelim final spot at stake here from a Geelong point of view. It's been almost perfect up till now, up to this 3 quarters. Let's see what this last quarter brings. They've got to score and they've got to score quickly, Geelong, at Brisbane.
Lions have made the sub lead by Ashcroft in a half-first final, 13 disposals. Sam Marshall's come in, he's on the wing. Hit it against Max Holmes. Can the Cats finish the deed at the champs? Got a mighty final quarter stand in them. Into the last quarter we go. Fort took the territory. Bowes slipped over as he had a moment. Charlie Cameron dispossessed Fort and Neal into open space. The Cats are on the hunt. Atkins arrives. McCluggage the other way. Good honest contest. Bowes did release. McCluggage. Neal floating around at the back. Had the wherewithal to find the right man in Leicester. High ball to get after, though. Guthrie.
Just didn't compete in the air, Charlie. Allowed his man to take the mark because he didn't feel like he was in a good position.
Humphreys and De Koning, the goal kicker tonight. Humphreys stayed viable. Cats look to create on the outer side. Had plenty on it. O'Sullivan lends a hand. Mullen slices his kick up for Dangerfield. Couldn't quite reach a fingertip up.
His stocks have risen tonight, O'Sheen Mullen. The job that he's done on McCluggage and the way he's done it in a final like this, he's becoming a weapon for Chris Scott.
And what about
Bailey now?
Yeah, Connor O'Sullivan as well. Yep. You know, just slotting in a big final and just hardly losing a contest.
Neal batters it away. Bowes, he creeps a little closer. Cameron, battle of strength with Gardner. uses that strength well.
Thanks, Harris. Yes, sir. Shannon, you up? Thank you.
31
Shannon,
points.
Darcy, what's my back here? What's my back there?
Neil. Fought the tap. Manor fights almost through the tackle. Does not survive.
This will give us an indication of the mindset. Well, Dane Zorko's got the footy in his hand. Or even Wilmot, he'll be aggressive as well.
He's looking, but all he's seeing is a wall of Cats players set up behind the ball.
Yeah, the grid was well set, wasn't it? So Leicester, and he can't quite find what he's after initially. He's gone to a 2-on-1 against Gardner. Knocked away by Blitzarves and it found the boundary.
And that's a sign of the work rate. The Cats are working harder. Blitzarves got over to create the 2-on-1. There weren't enough Lions working into a space to give Ryan Lester an option coming out of the defensive 50.
A lot of advice being offered. Slap out there. Smith and Zorko. Smith toppled Zorko late. Oh, Zorko didn't like it. Bit of interaction between the two.
We look down the line, though, a kick away here for Brisbane. They were a kick and a half away. It's O'Sullivan and or Tom Stewart is the loose man behind the ball here. It's perfectly set up for the Cats.
And Cluggage got on the move, got dragged off it. Bose, quick kick inside 50. Neil was looking for Andrews and he was right there. Of course, Dangerfield released. Couldn't quite find the advantage though. With Ashcroft Wilmot dashing through Bailey. Neil didn't give it back on the outside. Instead, he finds Starcevic. Bites off the kick wheel to the logo. And away goes Bailey. Oh, he slipped at the wrong moment. Archie's going to help him out. And Dunkley, still relentlessly, they come forward, the Lions. Raider, centre of all the drama and theatre. These long kicks in have been hard all night. Archie's a very narrow target. It's an easy
and so Bailey is running forward, right? And you need to score, and you need to score quickly, and he can't kick it because Tom Stewart's just sitting in the hole.
Yep.
So he stops and gets tackled. Then it becomes slow down the line. Easy pickings for a Geelong defence. Don't think they can afford to let Geelong have a spare behind the footy when they've got to kick 6 goals.
Fort, a couple of goes at it. Bose, Ashcroft passes Smother, Cameron. The collector's one thing, trying to dispose of it another.
Yeah, at the other end, you've got Darcy Wilmot's the loose for the Brisbane Lions. But I think at this stage of proceedings, you've got to equalise the numbers, Gaz.
Yeah, you're 31 points down in the final.
Manor legs it. Driving ball moment for Neil. He actually removed Andrews from the picture. Plays it wide to Guthrie and back to Shannon Neil. How he would relish this moment! The big scratcher. Is that the one?
He got the knee into the back of Harris Andrews, and that put him out of the contest. And then he was able to enjoy the fruits of his own labour, staying involved and kicking a goal that's done his confidence the world of good.
I'm looking down the line. It's probably the only piece of the puzzle that needed to be put into place, and that was Shannon Neil to get himself involved. And look at Harris Andrews forlornly on knees in the middle of the centre square. It's almost sums up where this game's at right now. The one last dominant piece of the puzzle's dropped from a Brisbane Lions point of view because Shannon Neil, who's been owned by Harris Andrews, has hit the scoreboard.
It didn't look pretty, Gaz, but he did enough just to jump into Andrews and get him under the footy.
The Lions on their knees, 37 points. Staring down the long way through the final series. Neil's still trying everything. McCluggage, Dunkley, the pressure's everywhere. Fort got bustled over by DeConing.
It's just rabid from the Cats. This is brilliant stuff. Yeah. They've been relentless from the very start of the game, pressure-wise.
Dunkley was basically in the tackle of Manor as the ball arrived.
So the uncontested marks were always going to be a big measurement. 68 to Brisbane, 62 to Geelong.
And 100's their number, isn't it?
100's the number, yep.
Smith got it forward. Fletcher cut it off. One-on-one on the wing. Holmes just wanted to read where it was going and Archie dragged him. Ever so aware of the speed advantage if he'd been able to get away. Smith's on the move.
They've run them into the ground, these two boys, which is no great surprise.
Put it in deep. Good defensive mark.
Hey
taken
guys,
by
just quickly
Gardner.
down here. Paddy Dangerfield's just gone down under the rooms. Actually, he's just walked back up now, which is good news for Geelong. But he's been down there for the last 5 minutes, so we're just trying to find out what's going on.
Any issues?
You ready to sub him out, Moons?
Yeah.
I reckon it might be time.
Archie
Don't need to risk him.
leaves it inboard for Zorko to roll and go. And the Lions have got runners. Neil didn't give, sets it up instead. Will Ashcroft hairs off into space. Got the sweet bounce. Now the setup. Up to full forward claw.
Gee, that is a horrible kick. Having said that, none of the forwards made a good enough effort to hit up. They didn't go early. They waited, and the Geelong players took away the dangerous space.
And sees the chance to go. Stengel to Cameron now.
Just quieting down Jizzer after it looked like he was going to kick 10 in the opening quarter.
Just a conversation there between captain and vice on the bench. Up for this. Neil again. Oh, he's got it.
That's one of the first times all of a sudden Harris Andrews' attention went to Shannon Neal and not the footy.
Yeah.
Side by side, he was looking for the body. All night he's attacked the footy. Watch him here, he just keeps looking at him.
If he finishes strongly here for his confidence, like he's already had one belting from Harris, he's getting owned again, and if he can finish strongly with a couple of goals and a couple of wins, they're doing the world of good.
His progress this year has been superb. 42 goals for the season. Neil from 45 metres out.
But I mean, they may shape off again in 3 weeks' time.
They could.
So he's learning a few things now. Tricks of the trade, what to do against Harris Andrews when I'm being dominated. What worked for me?
Keep turning up. That's the other thing, isn't it? You just got to keep turning up.
Wilmot just checked himself. The second guessing didn't work. Mullen and Dempsey couldn't find the kick he was after. Trying to bring, well, the Neils are both involved. Wilmot finds the way past. Releases Lockie.
Ends up short there.
There's a lot of second guessing going on, isn't there?
He's pulled up short.
Has he gone for the right ankle? So that's a worrying moment.
That's just made a bad night worse.
Henry and Guthrie on the spreads. Medical staff are out with Lockie Neal now.
He's not trying to disguise this. He's not trying to push him away. And now he's trying to get on the trot.
It's been a hard path to get back here. 5 weeks of rehab. Bailey Smith is on the burst. That's nice to close.
So he needs to come off Lockie Neal because there's no chance of him being effective in any way, shape or form. His defensive effort there, he tried his heart out. He couldn't move.
Let's look at a coach that has realised that the night has just got as bad as it could get here.
So there's no point him staying out.
No, there's not.
So around the perimeter it comes for Myers.
Can only, if he has injured himself badly, can only do more damage.
Oh, rifle shot from Banner. He did well to handle it.
He pulls off some extraordinary kicks, Graham Myers, doesn't he? That's a worm burner.
Just on Lockie Neal, guys. You'd think if he's staying out there, it'd have to just be cramped, wouldn't it?
It was not cramped. It was not cramped when he grimaced and just stopped mid-run.
Yeah, but it is an interesting one. If it looked as bad as what it did, then you would head off.
He'd be coming off, wouldn't he?
Yeah, for sure. So maybe he knows, maybe he's had it before.
Anyway, Paul Manor showed last year that he was made for these finals, and he's followed through again tonight to get himself a goal. Not this time.
Well, they cannot have wanted for much more, the Cats. They can't have been much more impressive. I know there's some footy still to be played here, but they've put the Brisbane Lions away on a big, big stage.
I hope he's jogging off, Lockie, because you wouldn't be buying him at a yearling sale. Let me tell you right now.
I think he's getting roughly towards that facility, Chase.
He's getting there, but he's taking his time.
Yeah. He's coming off.
Finally.
They'll likely have to turn around in 7 days' time.
That says it all.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Wilmot squirms out of the tackle. Rayner goes straight back into the fire. Another smother. Smothers night it's been.
There's another great smother and tackle from Sean Manor. His desperation and physical.
All I can say, guys,
impact.
he put his head into his jumper and let out a nice swear word. So he's done something.
I think he said fruit moves.
Not cramp any moments. Here's Myers. Comes away. McCluggage. Inventive by hands. Marshall the sub. Ashcroft. Archie. Who's so superb in the finals last year, but Humphreys. It's all the applause. It's a hard watch, isn't it? Someone as well loved and respected as Lockie Neal.
Coach and captain contemplating what's to come.
He's had a massive night, by the way, Lockie Neal. He was the one that was driving them when the rest weren't.
McCluggage looked off it. Rayner kept the footy under his own control. Worked it around. Gardner, that's not much of a kick. Stengel steals, and they all break to goal. What will Stengel do? He's gone for Manor. Just overkicked him. Andrews is right there. He wasn't quite able to get it out. So you have to find the adventurous hand pass. Fletcher, Berry.
Just treated Sean Manor with a bit of contempt there. Harris shoved him over.
McCluggage trying to find the way right through the middle of the ground. And Marshall got it from Dunkley. Kicks up for Lohman. He can go back and take the shot at goal.
You're not on your line.
Run around the corner. Can't quite do that.
You're not on your line.
So they had to do it all over again. A couple of goals in the first half.
Ball triggered out. You never run.
Question without notice, Gaz. Do you see any circumstances under which the Brisbane Lions can regather themselves and make a premiership tilt without Lockie Neal?
That's your line, man.
It's a long way back to the premiership from here. They've done it. They've proven that they can do it, but gee, they're down on a few numbers.
Kai Lohman, his third goal, and the Lions' first of the final term. To the delight of the Geelong fans, he misses.
Having said that, we keep our fingers crossed because we don't want the best players missing. We want Lockie Neal playing every final that the Brisbane Lions are in.
Could be a cute clash.
But the body language isn't great.
Fist from Wilmot was effective. Driving ball right to the front from Berry. At the back, Martin going to be challenged here. It's a walking for Bailey. Bailey puts it through. The Lions will keep whacking away. It's a big gap to bridge right now. It's back to 32 points though, so I guess theoretically there's time.
Been one of their better contributors, Zach Bailey. 25 possessions, he's kicked a goal, he's had plenty of bite and pace around the ground. Made a few errors along the way, but you know he certainly gives it a decent run.
Well, you just see that Jack Martin peels off and goes straight to the marking contest. So he started side by side with him, went to the marking contest and left him on the ground. So it's not quite the defensive acts that we've come to see from this Geelong outfit. So whoever's run on the tape on Monday. So is that calf?
It's a calf, ice pack on the calf.
Well, if it's a calf, Jace, we ain't seen him again. Still these two go at it, so we need them to get involved in the contest just to liven things up again.
Under Lee's law, 6 goals in 10 minutes. The hunt on in the middle of the ground. Bowes taken to ground by Dunkley. Deconian and Fort doing their work. Smith. Oh, didn't throw it back to the umpire. Should be a free kick. So Fort's ball. Pretty straight up and down that one. Fort, well-weighted ball. Trying to put Berry into space. He'll roll and send them in deep. Need a decent mark. Morris worked under it by Henry, and Henry takes the intercept mark.
What a player this fella is.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who he plays on, tall, small.
He's reliable, isn't he? And between he and O'Sullivan and Stewart down back.
Stewart has orchestrated things, and he's had plenty of allies in that defensive 50. Humphreys at various stages being one of those, but he's outmarked by Will Ashcroft. So So just trying to make it up. Will is Zorko, right man for the kick, but not the kick that he was after. Stewart again repels.
He's been in terrific form leading into the finals, Tom Stewart, after an interrupted year.
6 intercept marks for Tommy Stewart. We saw Darcy Moore last night have 9, and he's having a similar impact on proceedings. Not that it's as tight as last night, but they've played into his hands.
Marshall, Ashcroft. He had McCluggage on. He went longer, and that arc not completed by Martin, but the boundary line will do.
Well, there were a few questions coming in. Did the rather soft end of this home and away season through no fault of Geelong's, was it going to have an impact? Well, it hasn't had any. Not this is as good a pressure performance as we've seen from a Geelong team for a long time. So they're absolutely cherry ripe here. They're going to get another weekend off, and they're going to come back here for a prelim final and be enormously tough to toss. They've just ticked every box tonight. It's been super impressive.
Ford breaks clear with the tap. Bailey tries to help it on. Rayner dealt back out from Dunkley to Bailey. It's a bit of traffic go past. Marshall, hounded by Atkins. Relentless pressure from the Cats. Rush ball, Bailey. Lohman can't get it onto the boot. No, Dunkley can. And there's another one. And maybe the challenge is a bit more realistic now.
It takes some doing that, kicking a goal when you're backpedaling.
And getting that much distance on the kick.
Yeah, you're going back at a rate of knots. You've got to stop and then generate enough power to get through the footy. Damn good goal.
Chris Fagan did reference post that preliminary final last year about the Cats' so-called soft lead into the finals. They'd have a soft kill at the end of the home and away, and they'd smash Port Adelaide, and he made his players believe that they could overrun them.
Yeah, it's important too that Brisbane finished strong. They can't just sit back and have a 35, 40-point loss and not really fire a shot. So, in terms of whoever they play next week, they want to be hitting the ground. They haven't wavered from the way they wanted to play. They continue to push and challenge. It's important they finish the next 7 minutes.
26 points is the deficit that they face. Bailey into the middle with Atkins.
Darcy's hand.
Let's crash into each other early. Those can't get around Will Ashcroft. Some of these clearances have been hard won at various stages. Spike into open space. Gallup held up by O'Sullivan. A couple of the youngsters.
Rayner and Marco Connor down on the goal line.
This way.
There's been a sideshow in and of itself.
It's been just going on and on.
It is non-stop.
But that's the discipline of Mark O'Connor. You come in, you get given a job, and he has done a damn good job. Let's forget the couple of gift goals from umpiring decisions. He has beaten Cam Rayner tonight, big time.
Berry's free kick. Dangerfield just a bit over-enthusiastic.
And he knows that he's playing for a position in a team that's going to go preliminary final, possibly grand final. He wants to be a part of it.
Wilmot and Leicester to give the forwards a look deep. Up goes Lohman. Down stays Zorko, and he hasn't got his snap online. 25 points.
Saw Brisbane come back from about 20 points down with just over a minute to go against Sydney. A month out from the end of the home and away season. So they'll have to retain some sort of belief.
You might be clutching at straws, Anthony.
Stewart.
He did see the miracle on grass, though.
True.
Martin. Berry denies. Archie. Wilmot. Hasn't got much of the ball there. Myers teasing and tossing it out to Dangerfield. Down the line. Here's Neil and Andrews again.
Holding.
Taking the jump enough.
He's one of the best at playing in front, Harris Andrews. He takes front position and so good at holding it and using it to advantage.
Zorko. He'll find anyone.
That's a heck of a kick.
33 touches, Dane Zorko.
He runs past for another. Maybe even one more. No, Wilmot does his own squeak way. Plays it forward to Leicester, to Rayner. You know what's coming if he kicks this. Oh! Geelong fans will well remember that left boot from about that position in the preliminary final last year.
Exactly. There's deja vu going through everyone's mind.
The heart of the Lions is pumping. They are giving their all to the end. A sustained period of attack, and they're 4 goals neat down inside the final 6 minutes. Holmes a bit half-hearted down the line. Berry charged the footy, can't keep it in the field of play. He got pushed though, so it'll come back.
As he kicked it. Just feels like the Cats have gone into a little bit of wind the game down.
I think they're tiring, Jace. I think such has been their effort and their defensive efforts and their tackling and their pressure. I think it's taken a bit out of them. They're probably feeling the pinch of it.
Tight, stand.
Searching for the line. I saw Jess Hull lose the unlosable.
Oh, wow.
Not long ago. That is an expansive kick into the middle, and the Cats are trying to muster numbers. Manor got dragged without it. I suppose in these circumstances you have to try absolutely everything.
Well, he had a couple of square-up options a little shorter than the one he went for. They end up kicking it to a 1 against 2.
Zorko trying to close the space to Bose. Forced him to drop the mark, but Atkins is off out the front. He'll find Stengel. The opportunity to go back and shut it all down.
Cramp. Hit a cramp for Sean Manor.
Sucking in the big ones. Tyson Stengel, goalless tonight. He's been a bit wayward recently. 9-14 in his past 5 games. To end, any thoughts of the ludicrous? Tyson Stengel. To drive the nail in. It just won't work back. Won't quite get there either without the assistance of Harris Andrews. It's the 6th rush behind. And most of them have been off the fist of the captain.
Zorko takes off. Archie and Berry into Koning with emphasis. Close. Tom Atkins.
This will be a popular goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tommy Atkins kicks this. He's had a fantastic season. And whilst we've lauded the tackling game of everyone in Geelong, this is the best tackler in the competition right here.
And if you listen to Chris Scott, listen to his teammates, they rave about not just his tackling, his overall performance and what he means to this team.
An emergency back in the 2020 grand final team. Hasn't life changed since then for Tom Atkins? Already a premiership player. He might just have sent the Cats into a home preliminary final. They can breathe easy now, the Cats, barring maybe a double or a triple goal. I think they're there.
Well, that is one side of the story that's not going to, well, we talked about the motor a lot. It's not going to have the ramifications that it may otherwise have had the end of that first half of footy, which had everyone in the stadium and around the country just shaking their head.
Which I think makes the Cats' performance even better, guys.
Well, indeed, because they were on such a tear then that they were lining up for their 5th in a row. And really, those 2 goals from Mona sort of separated an 8-goal run that just blew the game right open. 86,364 at the home of footy for the first of the finals.
The Lions down the wrong side of Lee's Law. And they're dancing in the aisles, having been booing for the best part of 2 hours. McCluggage gets it up near Cameron. Guthrie's beaten him off the ground. Rayner gets it near the teeth of goal. Henry athletically backed his own abilities, gave it off to Dempsey. Stewart danced his way out and threaded the pass beautifully to Dangerfield. The 2 leaders central to it. Jai Clark is just getting warmed up down on the bench. He's going to get on in a qualified final for a couple of minutes.
That's
perhaps
a tough ask for Jai Clark to come on and have an impact.
Stengel's taking contested marks.
Well, we don't know who he's come on for. Jack Martin's sitting at the back of the bench at the moment, but he's been on his feet for the last 3 minutes, busting his chops to get on.
he knows he's going to have to do about 50 laps if he doesn't get on and have a run.
Neil launched himself, couldn't take the mark. Look at Egan not to take possession underneath. Two goals each in this final term. 4th straight to the boundary. So Brisbane back to the Gabba for a semi-final against the winner of Fremantle and Gold Coast. A long way through to the other side of the draw, should they be successful against Collingwood here at the G. See if they can still get back here.
2 big prelims at the G, Jared, in front of monster crowds.
Terrific tackle from Dangerfield. Yes, with Collingwood and Geelong as your hosts, you'll top 90,000 for both.
Yep.
It's a bit of a throwback to the days of old. No one will come off to let poor old John Clark on. You can see the humour in it. Close on the move at the stoppage. Didn't get much on the kick. Dempsey towed it on. McCluggage taken down by Atkins. Next to his tackle numbers.
Hasn't had a minute to breathe, Jim McCluggage, for the entire match.
He's had 4 kicks.
Yeah, they've done a job on him. 14 possessions, but 4 kicks at 50% efficiency.
There's not quite 86,000 here now because a lot of the Lions fans have left. Play on. It's touched maybe off the ball. But the Cats fans that remain are in full voice.
As well they should be. Their team have done them proud tonight.
Cameron looking for a free. He set things going in the first quarter. As wayward as he was, kicked 2 goals. And it's going to be hard to get to 100 now. I don't think he'll mind at all. The Geelong chant. Oh, Dangerfield. Athletic, but fierce as always. Bailey Smith. Blitz halves. Berry. Close. Taken high. Great Close will get the opportunity maybe to kick the last.
They don't look like letting up. It's been impressive. Collingwood were impressive last night, but I think we're looking at the new premiership favourites tonight in Geelong. This has been a superb performance, a dominant performance in every aspect of the game. And with Tom Stewart back marshalling the defensive side of the game, they look a different mob.
A great club for almost 20 years. Brad Close. Geelong fans rise around the MCG. Starting to check their phones and look for the details about how to get preliminary final tickets. The Cats will host along with Collingwood. First got beaten last night, second won't this evening.
It's just the ability to reinvent themselves, to maintain a strong squad and to continually change the way they play to fit the modern game. If you're a Cats supporter in the 21st century, you've got a lot to be excited about. You just keep getting treated to incredible performances year after year after year where you put yourself into contention, and they've done it again in the finest fashion tonight.
You've got 25, 26-year-old Geelong supporting best.
Oh, haven't you? Absolutely right.
They've built their lead at every change. Just the final minute to run out. Andy Smith leant in, Dunkley went with him. Atkins has tackled relentlessly as he has done all year. De Koning's done his bit in the ruck. Myers inventive, still somehow it worked. Blitzers gives it off to Clark, the sub unselfish to Stengel. That will win him so many plaudits. And Stengel around the corner adds a behind.
It's a little bit sloppy. He just hasn't got himself back in goal-kicking form, Tyson Stengel, has he? A couple of opportunities tonight.
So Jai Clark's going to have one disposal, tremendously effective, team-oriented.
Should have been a goal assist, yes.
Behind assist.
Yes.
Did himself at the end. Loman said himself. Holmes set the tone in that third term. It'll be lionised what he was able to do when he got on the run. Jeremy Cameron, 7 shots at goal for 2 majors. Andy Smith's worked his way in after being quite early. Blitzouts just couldn't quite create. He goes holding the ball.
Let's talk about Jeremy Cameron. Jared, he's kicked himself out of 100, hasn't he?
He has. On a tumultuous night, Geelong have turned the tables on the champs. They book all the advantages of September and they force the Lions to go the long way round the mountain. Geelong bound for a home preliminary final at the MCG. Neil's a sad sub-story to this, and soon enough he'll be the major story as the Lions look towards their semi-final at home. Geelong built their lead from 12 to 15 to 31 to 38 through the breaks. 16-16, 112 defeating Brisbane 11-8, 74.
Very quickly becomes a big story, Lachie Neale, as the Lions lick their wounds. They return to Brisbane, a home final next week to try and regather their September campaign. Will it include Lachie Neale? We don't know.
Let's head to Cameron Mooney.
Thank you very much, Joe. Well, let's just talk about how you're feeling right now, because that was an outstanding performance from you boys.
Yeah, it was. Very happy. It's a great time of year. We're really privileged to be here. So we prepped really well. We're really excited to play on the G. It's been great, Nick. And we started the game well, so we're in it. And then, last quarter was great. Some good efforts from people. Scratch was awesome, so it's a lovely win.
You've been known as Mr. Fix-It your whole career, and you just came in and you fixed another problem for Geelong today, playing in the ruck. When did you know you were playing?
When Reece did his hammies a couple of days ago, so yeah, disappointed for him. It's tough, but he'll do everything he can to get back, so fingers crossed for him. But yeah, that's myself, Fish, Scratch. We knew we had to lift in that sort of department, so yeah, it's a good result.
We know they're one of the best midfields in the competition, but it just seems like you guys just tore them apart today.
No, Axe, you see Max and you see Baz, and their run on the G's amazing, and Axe is such a leader in there, the way he sets up and he demands of everyone, and it's easy just trying to hit it to him or put it down and let him go to work. So it was a good performance, and they moved the ball really well, so we wanted to defend well. Another prelim, it's nice.
Was that one of the great floating goals that you've ever kicked in your life?
Yeah, Shawnee Manning was in straight away. He jumped on me. I was trying to see if it went through, but it's a nice one. Nice.
As you said, mate, into another prelim in front of 86,000 people. Doesn't get old, does it?
That's awesome. It's a great feeling. It's something you miss when you finish. So, into another prelim. We'll see how we go.
All right, mate. Go and enjoy. Congratulations.
Well, it's an interesting statistical review of the game. You've got 4 Brisbane Lions players that have had 30-plus possessions, and then you had Bailey with 27. Ollie Dempsey had the most for the Cats with 25.
Yeah.
Holmes 23, Stewart 22, Bailey Smith 22, and Blitzarf 20, which just shows you how much they share the workload. They get contributions across the board. They don't rely too heavily on 1 or 2 players. There are always others that can pick up the slack, and they work their way into the game beautifully tonight. Again, statistically, I look at the game of Sean Manor, who had 15 possessions, and he only kicked it behind. I thought he played a great game.
Felt like so much more.
He worked his butt off defensively, setting up goals for opposition, for teammates. I thought it was a brilliant game that just doesn't get reflected in the numbers attributed to him.
He had 7 in score involved.
Yeah.
So he definitely did that. And I mentioned already the unlikely list of goal kickers.
Yep.
Even Tom Atkins kicking the goal is not a big goal kicker, as the Cats advance to the third week for the preliminary final, like the Pies did last night.
And I think if you are a Cats fan, you spoke about Tom Stewart just starting to come into a bit of form the last month of the season, Hutto. This is the best game I've seen him play this year. And when he's in this sort of form, I think he takes Geelong to another level.
And speculation that Geelong preliminary final might be the Friday night. I guess we'll wait for confirmation of that. And Brisbane have to play the winner of tomorrow night's game between Fremantle and Gold Coast. Fascinating if the Suns in their first final series could win that one and set up a Q clash either way. Freo would have some good form behind them if they were to win, and
yep.
they would believe they could get on the road and challenge the Lions.
Well, and they'd love that trip, because Brisbane went over there and had a good win only a few weeks ago. So for Freo to turn that around, I think you just rest that voice for a little while, Hutto, and I'll do a little bit of the talking. Ollie Dempsey, we can't speak highly enough of him. He just continues to lead from the front for a young player. He knows his role. He plays his role beautifully. He's given license to push forward at every opportunity. They do take a few risks with him, but they trust what they've got behind the footy. You can see him equally highest ranked player on the ground alongside Max Holmes, who really reasserted the dominance of the Cats with a monster third quarter. They dominated the second term. They broke away. They looked like they were going to build an unassailable lead. A couple of extraordinary free kicks that will be spoken about that went to Brisbane Lions, 2 gift goals, which got them back into it. But in the third quarter, they put the foot down again, the Cats, and it was Max Holmes leading the way with 10 possessions, kicked a goal himself. He was sensational. And this goal was a funny old kick from Paddy Dangerfield that nearly went through itself, but just to come steaming in and catch the ball on the half volley, the timing of that, I think he surprised himself. He was genuinely excited with that. It was brilliant. And they didn't have to rely on Jeremy Cameron kicking the majority of their goals. He looked like he was going to light it up early. Look at the excitement. Thoroughly deserved.
Max Holmes, of course, has some mixed memories of September, so...
Not bad in game number 100, Hutto.
Yeah, he'll be so excited to get back to a preliminary final.
Yeah, he's got a point to prove. He wants to have a monster final series. He wants to be a part of what could be an incredibly successful season for the Cats. They're going to enjoy this one. And it looks like they've got through unscathed, and that becomes critical at this stage of the year. Can you get through the game without suffering injuries? We see already there's a question mark over Lockie Neal. What's that going to mean for the Brisbane Lions? But they looked to do it on the bit, the Cats. No injuries. As we said, with that run home against 6 of the bottom place teams, they were able to manage the minutes of all the players, get everyone where they wanted them to be, fitness-wise, running on top of the ground. And they are finely tuned for a really big September tilt. And they are going to enjoy this song after a monster win over the Brisbane Lions.
Good places to be when you see a team come in here knowing they're through to the preliminary final, and with Cam Mooney and Tom Hawkins here, they're just about to jump in the circle.
Well, let's be honest, we started to carry on a little bit, didn't we?
Absolutely, and it kept us sane down there. But yeah, that was brilliant. I thought the leaders led beautifully tonight. They had winners all over the ground. It was an emphatic win for the Cats.
They are over the moon here. They're into a preliminary final. They're in great shape, Cam. I think that's the other thing is they've had a weekend off. They've come here. Defensively, it's as good a performance as I've seen from them for a long, long time. They tackled them into submission. They pressured them into submission. Now they get a weekend off. They come back here to the MCG. Whew, things are rosy.
Well, it's amazing, guys. There's a lot of talk about the easy run into the final. Was it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it turned out to be a pretty good thing because, as you said, they looked fresh, they looked hungry, and they ran just completely all over Brisbane by the end of that game. And their tackling pressure was enormous, and here we are with the great man, the skipper.
Make room for the fountain of youth. The young man is the Benjamin Button of football, Patrick. Well done to you and your boys. You're through to the prelim, and it was a special performance tonight.
Yeah, it was, guys. Really proud of our guys, the way that we executed. We set ourselves for the moment, and it was going to take a 4-quarter effort, but I felt so much of what we're prepared for the last couple of weeks, we really executed.
I'm going to let you loose with these two greats of your club, but just quickly, from a pressure point of view, you played this side, they've beaten you the last 3 times a particular way. Was it a focus to try and tackle them into submission, or did that just happen?
I mean, that's finals footy, isn't it? Watching the game last night, that's so much of what is important at this time of the year, but it's a fine balance between really putting pressure around the footy, but not having everyone condense and get too tight in that layer, and then allowing the ball to spill out. So it's a fine balance, but I felt like we executed that part of our game really well tonight.
You touched on the fact that you like to keep yourself really sound and prepare yourself for this time of year, don't you? I mean, you look dynamic. You looked at your best.
Well, I think it's for all our players, not just myself, but like the staff, the work that they put in, and we've got some older players, more experienced guys, I wouldn't say we're older. and they, they plan out the year from the very beginning. Jack Martin's a great example, but I mean, Mark Blitzar's in the ruck tonight. The Swiss Army knife that he is, and that's sort of littered throughout our list with guys that are 30 plus, but really executing and playing well and feeling good at this time of year. It's one thing to, put yourself in a position which you need to do for 23 rounds, but then this is really when the big stuff starts.
Paddy, the talk about coming into this final series where you had the easier run out of everybody, was that a concern for you guys, or you just thought, we're okay?
Well, it's, you can only control what you can control, right? So for us, it was improving our game from where it was probably 2 months ago, breaking it down into blocks of what the next 3 weeks is going to look like, what the next 3 weeks beyond that's going to look like. And that was sort of a, 6-7 week snapshot for us as we head into the back of the year, knowing that, other teams are in a different developmental phase than us, but we're going to play our game, execute on the things that we do well and understand there's going to be a really high level needed come September. And, it's a credit to Chris and all our coaches.
I want to touch on your versatility right across the board. So a great example of that is the ruck and how that played out for Geelong tonight. We saw De Koning, Blitzarves, Shannon Neal at times in the forward half. Can you talk us through, it's a bit of a way that Geelong just generally like to play anyway with their versatility right across the board, but it's such a strength. And we saw you spend some time in the midfield as well. So can you talk us through the versatility of your team and how much you champion that?
Well, I think it's a really big part of our game. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know I don't know really what Blitz's role is because, it's sort of on a need-to-know basis because he has so many, right? And the same with, DK down back who then spends some time through the middle, and the coaches will change that dynamic during the game. So sometimes we don't, the players around the ball don't exactly know what's going on, but as long as those key pieces that are the change in that dynamic know, then, it wasn't perfect. We missed a couple of the, with the 666, but if some of us are guessing, then the opposition should be more guessing.
A couple of little ones. The Cam Rayner situation, the 2 free kicks and the goal just prior to half-time. Were you across what was going on, and how was it dealt with early in this half-time?
To be honest, I wasn't across it, but Stewie's down there, so that's for him to manage and a few of our older guys. So that's footy sometimes.
That's the free kick, first up. That's your first look at it. And then you'll see Cam Guthrie come charging in like a wild rhinoceros and gives another one away.
Yeah, it's a fine balance. Are they there?
Good
Probably
answer.
not. But you've got to be mindful this time of the year, don't you? So, it's a learning thing for our players. Not sure they're exactly there, but he's a smart player, Cam Rayner. But I felt, for the most part, our guys won that duel.
You touched on Tommy Stewart before. His last month is back to the Tommy Stewart of who we know he's been. He's had a bit of a quieter year compared to what he has given out over the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah. But his last 5 weeks, he seems back.
Yeah, he's back to the best defender in the comp, in my opinion. And he's had that injury interruption with the medial, and he just couldn't get, string games together without it being sore. So that was a real balance for us, wanting to get games into him, but knowing he's a little underdone. But my word, the last month, he just controls that back half.
Hey, we're going to let you go because we know you're an old fella. You've got to go and recover. You did go down the race at some stage. Is there anything that you need to tell us about, or are you looking for a souvlaki?
I went to the bathroom twice, guys. As you get older, these things, you can't quite hold it in as like you once could. So
trust me, it gets worse.
Couple of bathroom breaks for me.
And tell me, how much easier is it playing forward? Tom, he's taking your spot. We're giving a critique him while he's here.
Well, I had to fill in the weight class. When Tom went out, we needed to bring someone that's closer to 100 in, and it wasn't. Jack Martin with his calves isn't exactly doing that, so I needed to bring in the extra weight.
You've got a few kilos to go before you do that, mate.
Hey, we love you.
I do, Tom.
we love you, but you're subbing you out for Bailey. So
you come in there, old boy. Yeah.
You got a question you want to ask Bailey before you go or not? Into the microphone, Patrick.
It's not ready for television.
No, it is. Have you mowed the lawns the last week?
I have, yeah. Spring, it's starting to go. It's not spring yet. Oh, it is now, isn't it? Yeah. So, no,
his edging, Gary, is... I was around there the other day. He's edging... No, it's horrendous. Like, it's one thing to mow the main paddock, but
You don't put much effort in. It's attention to detail, mate.
Footy for the next couple of weeks,
I'm
mate.
going to leave you guys to it.
Thanks, brother.
Well, you got the week off. There's plenty of time to be spent on the mowing while the grass is
I got to do
growing.
the weed and feed. I've got all these weeds popping up and shit, so annoying. So it's good fun though, mate. Honestly, so therapeutic being in the garden. So I planted about like 35 different trees over the past like couple months.
This is on the
I love doing that.
on the acreage?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's good fun. Yeah, it's with me dogs.
How many acres have you got now?
Only 15, but it's good enough for me. Yeah, hard enough for me. So I'm enjoying it. So yeah.
Hey, what's it feel like? You've just played in a big final. You've guaranteed yourself a spot in a prelim. Is footy's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's cliche, but like we got another game to go. The job's not done, so just obviously enjoy it now for the next little half an hour. But then, win or loss, you got to do the same stuff on Monday. Rock up and train. So just keep. I don't know. We'll prepare for who we get. I don't know. We don't know who we get till another week, don't we? Yep. Just try and get the body right, mind right. See a few of my mates over the weekend, and relax. That'll be about it.
What was said at half-time between you and Maxi Holmes? Because the two of you completely turned the game in that third quarter with the run and carry, your goals and all of those type of things. Do you talk to each other and go, we need the lift?
Yeah, a little bit. Honestly, we do like running out. We say like they just can't go with us this second half. We just want to outwork them. Probably took us a while to work into the game. But Holmes is a star. Like he's run and carry. No one can run with him so fast. And we just know the longer the game goes, the more we're going to outrun teams, and that's something we aim to do. And it just comes down to willpower by the end of it. So and that pressure, we just had to ramp up our pressure. Tried to turn them over. They're such good ball users through the middle, so we just tried to mitigate that and make them go down the line.
So that was really interesting because it was almost like you invited Brisbane to use the middle at times tonight, and they were really attacking, probably more so than we've seen. So was that something you spoke about offering the opportunity to take a risk through there, and if you do, we'll turn it over and go back the other way?
Yeah, I think it's just having that like teasing distance, like making it look a bit like it's on, and then we just have the energy in our feet, be ready to come forward and defend, and trust the people coming in behind you. So if they end up getting one out the back, we're okay with that. We're just going to keep coming forward and really squeeze the game. So we got away with it, and I think it's a good formula moving forward for us.
Did you speak obviously through the week about their midfield, arguably one of the best midfields in the competition versus you guys? What was spoken about during the week?
Oh, I don't know. We just trust Austin Mullen to do his sort of job. He was on McCluggage and Mez, he was on Rayner. That was like entertaining to watch. Besides those two snags we gave away, but we've got so many good role players. So the more we can just keep doing what we need to do, we can I don't know, just keep on going, I guess.
Hey, Baz, we're big fans. We love what you're doing. We've admired you, and your last couple of weeks have been big weeks. It's had a big impact on the footy landscape. So good luck in the coming weeks.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
See you out and about. We're handing over to the main man here, who is embracing with this man, Bailey Smith, as he should. He's been an unbelievable pickup.
Yeah, happy. Yeah, I think we all are. I mean, it was... For a long time there, I thought it was, a super game. It sort of seemed like we've got to do our part, obviously, but it did look like two pretty good teams going at it.
51 tackles the first half. That's the most you've ever had. Was it a focus or did it just unfold?
It was a bit. I mean, the way that they moved the ball through the midfield, and obviously when they were down late, that went to another level. So if you sit off them a little bit, don't tackle well, they're going to carve you up. So, I mean... What was the result? In the end, it was pretty convincing, but they still seemed a threat for the whole game to me.
Ollie Dempsey just walked past, I should say. That was a big embrace just before. There was vision of you in the coach's box getting really excited when he kicked that goal. It would have been a tense environment at times, considering the free kicks that were given to Rayner throughout the night. How did you handle yourself with your coaching stuff in there?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get to the stage where the emotion is channeled towards good things. And I think I've been like that most of the time, to be honest. Obviously, the Rayner free kicks, in the box, we're like, there's nothing we can do, so we should just move on. And I thought the players did a pretty good job of that as well. I mean, that's the Ollie Dempsey one.
You loved it.
Now, I was there's a bit of an in-joke there as well, but with Ollie.
Right. You want to share it?
I'm not going to share it. You could.
Mark O'Connor's job tonight. I know Rayner kicks 3 goals, but as you said, he got 2 gimmies. But his job tonight, and the amount of times they were going back and forth at each other, it was a great effort.
Yeah. I mean, I thought there were some good battles all over the ground. And I mean, I was being literal and serious when I said pre-game. You could kind of throw a blanket over 6 or 7 of those mids in particular. I mean, I've got a little bit of a bias towards the Ashcroft boys because I know them, and but if you put work into them, the others get you. So we had to prioritise a bit, but without being too reactive as well. So that was the part I was most pleased with. I like Oisin Mullen in particular. He's such a good athlete that we'd be crazy not to try to use that offensively.
How good was that goal of Oisin's and seeing the players? Something that I must admit, through the night, that was something I missed about not being out there, but it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's aware of it when you've got a player who hasn't kicked a goal. So the boys were up and about, we were up and about in the box. Really nice moment for him.
And the milestone man, Max Holmes, was absolutely sensational. Just his ability to be able to break lines, break the game open for you, put the ball in dangerous spots as we see Oisin's goal and the teammates come to him. But Max Holmes' game, you must be pleased and proud of what he's been able to produce tonight.
Yeah, I mean, every coach and club's a bit biased, and there are probably 20 guys that should have been in the All-Australian team that weren't. But, with maybe apologies to a couple of guys, it's only my opinion, but Max has been our best player through the home and away season. And so, he's really well prepared for this final series. It was a great start for him tonight, but I'm not exaggerating when I say he has had a really special year.
He's through the half back too, so which we all love and admire. We look at it and we hear the stories. Chris is hard to coach against. So what factors do you take into account in where you deploy these players? So you've got it at your disposal. So did you do it because he was a little quiet the first half? Did you do it because you wanted some run off half back, or you wanted to shake a tag? I mean, what are the things that factor into that?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that, and I don't think it's rocket science, we try to maximise our best players' influence. And then there are some games, especially out here on the MCG with a bit more width, where getting him in a spot where he's a bit outside the congestion makes him a bit harder to stop. He's a good inside to out player. But when we also had a few other, I was really pleased, our coaching group was really pleased with the way the guys did mix and match a little bit. Bailey Smith and Max Holmes have had super years as on ballers, but Tom Atkins is probably as important to them in there as well. But they're not a group that have to play on ball. When they do get shifted a little bit, they're one, willing, and two, embrace the idea that I'm pretty dangerous out on the wing or at half-back as well, which is nice.
Hey, we're going to let you go, sorry. We've got other commitments. We appreciate it. You're always great with us. Your record continues to get better and better, so good luck. Have a week off, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Look forward to it.
Great stuff. Chris Scott, coach. Fantastic down here, the Cats, giving us great access. Let's head back up to Gerard and the boys.
Gaz, thank you. So a 10th preliminary final coming for Geelong coach Chris Scott. Jonathan Brown, Nathan Buckley, Jordan Lewis, give us your first impressions.
They were brilliant tonight, the Cats, all around the ground. Their pressure was magnificent. They hunted the Lions. When we've seen the Lions for the last 18 months hunt teams, Geelong served it back to them.
It's not every game that your best laid plans come to bear, but it sounds like everything that the Cats wanted to achieve, they were able to achieve across the majority of the 4 quarters, which is a fair effort against the reigning premier and one team that we think is one of the best in the comp.
I thought it was a powerful performance, and a lot had been spoken about their games in the lead-up, and there was a big question mark. They hadn't played anyone. They hadn't dealt with the physicality that they were going to deal with the Brisbane side, who were seasoned, matured, big game players, and they dealt with it really well. I thought they controlled the game from the first moment to the end, and it was only those couple of goals to Rayner that brought Brisbane back a little bit, but they were in total control.
It was a 10-goaler for me. It felt like a 10-goal thumping. Didn't it? You're right, those goals. And Geelong's inaccuracy early in the game.
38 points was the final margin. Tonight's number one, with thanks to Ford Ranger, was Max Holmes.
Yeah, he was brilliant, wasn't he? He had an unbelievable third quarter, including 10-plus disposals, 300-plus metres gained and a goal. So that was just a dynamic. He's such a power runner, isn't he? As Chris said, he's had an amazing season. So clearly he's ahead on in the best and fairest voting, I reckon. So get on Max Holmes. But he was brilliant, along with Bailey Smith.
It was about maximum effect. He only had the 23 touches, and the Cats had 40 touches less than the Lions throughout the night. So it was about effect, and his third quarter was huge. I think it was 300 metres gained, 10 touches, did you say, mate? So, I mean, that was massive. And as Chris Scott just detailed, to get him a little bit outside the middle. And I don't know if we've really rated his kicking as elite, but he hits like that particular kick there. Geez, the penetration he got on that. Such a clean ground level take, and that was in the middle of the third quarter when he was at his best. But yeah, he was one of a lot of contributors, but probably the number one for tonight.
He thought much about the prelim final last year? What happened?
Oh, I think it would have come across his mind. I think you're only human. You revisit the games and big games and how you performed and what goes into that, but that memory is totally erased after a performance like tonight.
There's a lot of news out of the game, that's for sure. Let's head back down to Gaz.
Thanks, Jared. Johnny Ralph joins us. Ralphie, in the jubilant Geelong rooms, it is a great atmosphere down here. Not so much, I wouldn't imagine, over there in the Brisbane rooms, and not least of all because they lost the game, but Lachie Neale late was the worry.
Yeah, that's right. So I've just come from the rooms, a lot of long faces, and there is no positive news on the injury front. So Brisbane's footy boss Danny Daly says, yeah, it's a calf tweak, which is what we know, but doesn't believe it's a low-level tweak. Here it is. He pulls up, having, as he said, been really fatigued coming back after a month out with a quad. And so the expectation from Danny is it's probably a 3 to 4 weeker. And that probably means that his season is done. A superhuman effort last year to play with that plantar fascia, which snapped in the grand final, nearly best on ground. But you'd imagine unless something extraordinary happens, his season is over. Eric Hipwood will not be available next week with his own calf issue. He still needs another week. So they play VFL. They play a final tomorrow where the likes of Tunstall and Reville will play in that clash. So will Oscar McInerney. Maybe they want to tweak up their ruck setup. But yeah, no one wants to underestimate how massive a loss it is to have Brownlow medalist and best and fairest player out.
And we'd love to be erring on the side of positive, but the three of us all just screwed our face up when you said that. You're not coming back from a calf injury at this time of the year. So that's no good. What about the controversy? Where does that all sit?
So it won't be a staging fine you wouldn't imagine for Cam Rayner, because it has to be excessive exaggeration. He doesn't grab at his face. But the fact that we're thinking about staging, and this game was nearly turned on its head, shows what an extraordinary situation it was. Spoke to Ray Chamberlain. He says 6 to 8 years ago you'd have some discretion as an umpire. You'd say, hey, boy, get up, keep playing on. But he says once the first free kick was paid, under a really tight threshold these days, the AFL wants black and white rulings. They don't want to say it's a final, so let it run. He says once that first free kick was paid against O'Connor, it was probably a free kick with Guthrie. But again, I think all of us would believe that they just lack feel for the game there. Former umpire Matthew Head says that, technically, anywhere over the ground, if it's a free kick for forceful or high contact, it should be paid. But he goes, that's not the reality. You all understand it's a final. You all understand that it's 140 metres away from play where Stengel has a shot at goal.
The other thing was, Ralph, if the ball was up one end, is the rule to take it back down the other end, or is it a free kick where the ball is?
No, it's where the free kick is paid, where the infringement is. So that's right. But again, as Ray Chamberlain would say, 6 to 8 years ago, you almost need to get someone for a reportable offence for that to happen, for that free kick to be paid at the other end of the ground. Under Steve McBurney's leadership, they want black and white rules. They want to say that, the first minute of the pre-season compared to the last minute of the grand final, it's equal. You blokes have played in enough of them to know that they're not equal. We've got to have some respect for the situation of the game.
Hand the footy back. Who had it? Stengel had the footy. Stengel hands it back to the Brisbane Lions bloke at half-back, and then away.
Oh, well, I would have thought
that would have been the right way
worst
to go.
case scenario.
Tell us about the fixture next week. It's out.
That's right. So it is officially out. So Adelaide, of course, will play in that semi-final. They will take on the winner of GWS and Hawthorn. It will be a 7:10 Adelaide time clash, 7:40 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and then that second clash on the Saturday night is Brisbane versus Fremantle or Gold Coast, 7:35 p.m. So Fremantle, of course, the favourites there to take on Brisbane. We could have a local clash for both of those teams, obviously desperately trying to avoid straight sets in Adelaide and Brisbane. A couple of ripping contests there, and then a couple of, you'd imagine, 90,000 plus preliminary finals at the MCG.
Nice work, gentlemen. Let's find out now from the Brisbane Lions point of view. The 38-point margin disappointing. Let's go to the Chris Fagan press conference.
Chris, where do you feel like that one slipped away today?
Well, there's a few things. I thought Geelong's pressure and intensity, reaction time, they just looked sharper than us tonight. And it showed in and around the contest. It showed in its stoppages. It showed in one-on-one contests around the ground. They were really ready tonight to go. I thought we were, but they were much better than us. And really, they were in charge of the game from the word go. They kicked 4 goals 6 in the first quarter. We were probably a little fortunate they didn't kick accurately. We did, so we were still in the game, but it just felt like we were just trying to claw our way back in all night, and we couldn't get there. But credit to them, they played a fantastic game.
Brad, in your group, how much would that sting them to be beaten in the contest like that?
Yeah, I will sting them. It's not a commonplace thing for our group. The numbers look all right with our group. They had plenty of the ball. I thought tonight, I don't know whether you observed this, but I thought we overused handball and we turned the ball over by hand a lot. I think in the first half, I don't know what the numbers ended in the finish, but at half time, I think from 8 handball turnovers, they scored 6 goals. That was due to their pressure and a little bit of our skill level and a little bit of not releasing the ball by foot when we should have. So, combination of things there. Lockie, looks like he's done a calf, so that's not a good thing. He's a pretty tough sort of guy. He can usually play through those, but he couldn't, so I'm not expecting great news there.
Was he hoping it was a cramp or something? Because he obviously stayed out there initially. What was
Lockie would do that. He's pretty tough. He would try to keep going, but in the end he couldn't, so, yeah.
About the severity of it?
I don't know the severity because you need to get a scan to find that out. But he's not. As I said, he's a pretty tough guy. It takes a lot for him to come off, so I suspect it's something significant.
He obviously felt right to go from that quad he had coming into the game. He felt ready.
Yeah, there's no issues with the quad. It's a calf.
The Cam Rayner double goal right before half time obviously created a bit
I'd have to watch all that back. The Geelong crowd weren't too happy with it. So I haven't watched the replay, so it would be unfair for me to make any comment on it. Obviously the umpire saw something and doubled up, but that probably helped flatter the scoreboard a little bit for us because Geelong were by a mile the better team tonight.
What did you make of Cam sort of embracing that villain sort of status, I guess, especially after half time when he kicked that goal and was playing up to the crowd? Are you comfortable with him?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, it's a hostile crowd. There's a lot of Geelong supporters here tonight, and that would have been Cam's way of just trying to bring a little bit of energy for the team. So no, I had no issue with that.
Chris, from the coaching perspective, it must have been a bit frustrating the amount of turnovers that happened throughout the course of the night. But more importantly, did you try to have a look at adjusting? Because it looked like at times you were trying to be maybe too aggressive with ball in hand.
Well, I think we overused handball. Was the main issue. When we actually kicked the ball tonight and got uncontested marks, that's when we looked at our best. But I think that overuse of handball, partly it was our fault, but a lot of it was due to the fact that Geelong put a lot of pressure on. I thought at the source they were terrific in that regard. I mean, the possession numbers look all right. We've had a fair bit more of the ball tonight, which is unusual for us to have more of the ball but lose the game. But too many of them were ineffective.
And the limits of scoring inside 50 as well. The Geelong defence really were able to close your forward line down.
Yeah, they did. They were able to intercept mark and our delivery in there wasn't all that good. I felt like in the third quarter we had some really good looks and then we just mucked at that kick inside 50 and they were able to mark it and repel. So, yeah.
Chris, just obviously the Champions last year on the way to play injury throughout the season and again later on in the year. Do you think you can win it if he's missing the rest of the season with that backup?
Do I think we can win the premiership?
Without Lockie?
God, I haven't even thought about that. I'm just worried about trying to win a game next week. I'll probably stay neutral on the answer to that question, mate. I don't know. He's a great player, so obviously he helps, and we've got quite a few other guys that are injured at the moment as well, not playing. So whether that, adds up to too many injuries and makes it difficult, I'm not sure. But we'll continue to play with spirit. We'll continue to go at the game, and we'll get out there next week and try and deliver a better performance than we delivered tonight. But as I say, give a lot of credit tonight to Geelong. They were magnificent tonight. I imagine their coach would be incredibly proud of the way that they played. I know I would be if I was him. They just played a great all-round game, and their determination and their pressure was as good as I've seen.
So what are some of the key messages for the game going into next week now, Chris? What are some of the things you're really focusing on just over the next 24, 48 hours to get it back on track as you get the second opportunity at home next week?
Yeah, well, we have to sort of work out who we're going to be playing, I suppose, is the first thing. There won't be an overreaction to tonight. We'll just do what we always do and have a look at the vision and find out where, we made errors and how we can improve for next week. It'll just be as simple as that. I've got a lot of faith in this group. We can make a drama out of it. They've been in the last 7 final series and done some pretty good work in that time. So it's not always going to be a bed of roses. Every now and then you've got to meet an opponent like we did tonight who were red hot. So we'll just stay calm and do what we always do.
And he also had some taping on his knee. Was he restricted?
Yeah, he's had that on his knee for about 6 weeks now. So no issues there. I mean, he obviously got an injury and that's why he's strapped up. But he's been playing with that and playing good footy. No, they did a really good job at stopping him tonight. It's unusual. Huey's usually pretty good when he gets tired. He can still get to work and have a big influence. But tonight they got the better of him.
Seen about everything over the last 6 or 7 years in finals. This group's seen about everything in the last 6 or 7 years in finals. Does that give the group confidence they can come back from this?
I don't see why we can't. It's just one game. So we'll remain optimistic, take the learnings, 1 week at a time. I mean, it's a hard thing to win a premiership, so it's not even worth talking about that. So we just knuckle down and come out and give a better performance next week than we gave tonight. As I say, Geelong played magnificently well, so make sure we give them plenty of credit. Thank you.
Chris Fagan has had his Lions fight adversity really right through this season, particularly late and maybe but never greater than now.
No, and it was a reaction of a coach whose charges were well beaten, and we all saw that. So he's very honest to a fault, and he's not projecting any further than next week. Obviously working out who their opponent's going to be, and then licking the wounds, and then preparing for next week and performing better. So I think he's right. You can't look beyond that. And generally we see the teams that finish top 4 respond when we get to semi-finals, and both Adelaide and Brisbane will probably be written off at different stages of this week, but invariably they do find a way.
Normally bristle at that question about can you win it without Lachie Neale, but even he just showed, we need to have a think about it, and he was very circumspect about it all. But I don't mind the approach of just, listen, I mean, talk about a premiership. Let's just worry about next week.
All right, we'll get your full thoughts and go through all the flashpoints. And weren't there some flashpoints in this qualifying final coming up next on Fox Footy?
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. The Cats way too strong. 4-quarter performance, just dominant. I'll tell you what, you wouldn't want to be the team that plays them next. 16-16, 1-12, defeating the Lions, 11-8, 74. Cats by 38 points this evening. M. King's happy. You're a big Cat supporter there. Well done. I'll tell you what, the poll had it right, 60% of the poll. But, of course, the Cats piling on. 3 goals, 4 in that final term. To the Lions, 2 goals, 3. Cats winning every term. This evening, they were just too good on the night. There we go. As I was saying, not good news there for Lachie Neale. Doing a calf could spell the end of his season, even if the Lions do go all the way to the grand finals. Sounds like something that he won't be coming back from. Of course, they got along quite a few injuries, the Lions, so that's not going to play well into their hands going forward. But all they can do is put the players out on the park. Hopefully they'll get some back and put up a good performance next week. Whoever they play, as I said, where is it? Brisbane Lions next week, of course, will play the winner of Fremantle and Gold Coast that are playing tomorrow. So it could be another Q clash. The team who's going to take at forward Queensland. Is it going to be Gold Coast or Brisbane? If Gold Coast happens to win that game tomorrow against Freo. So tune in tomorrow, folks, when Dockers play the Suns. You'll find out who Brisbane are playing. If you are a Brisbane supporter, just want to run through the stats for everyone out there for the end of the game, and we'll just wrap this one up. A lot of goal scorers on the evening, but the goal scorers there for the Brisbane Lions. Cam Rayner topped their table with 3. Kai Lohman with 2. Logan Morris, Jasper Fletcher, Josh Dunkley, Charlie Cameron, Jared Berry, Zach Bailey, all singles there for the Lions, of course. For the Pussycats, Geelong, Oliver Dempsey ended up with 3. Jezza Cameron, 2 goals, 3. He kicked all that in the opening term. Didn't touch the scoreboard after that. He still kicked his 2. Tommy Stewart bobbed up with 1. Bailey Smith, Shannon Neal finally got on the scoreboard in that final term. Mullen got 1. Martin Holmes also deconing Close, Bowles, Blixars and Tom Atkins. I tell you what, they had a host of goal scorers. Did the Cats tonight. Top possession getter out on the ground was Dane Zorko, 35. Lockie Neal with 32 came off with about 5 minutes to go. Josh Dunkley, 30. Will Ashcroft, 30. Oliver Dempsey, the best for the Cats on 25. Max Holmes, 23. Dangerfield ended up with 19 for clearances. Tom Atkins ended up with 17 disposals, 10 tackles, 3 clearances with a goal. Another great performance by him. Hugh McCluggage, well held tonight. Just the 14 touches for him. Cam Rayner, 13 touches for 3 goals, 2. Good performance. He played pretty well for the Lions. Levi Ashcroft, just the 13. Kai Lohman, 11 for 2 and 1. Sam DeConing, 9. Ty Gallup, 8 there for the Lions. There we go. Logan Morris, just the 6 touches, 2 kicks, 1 goal for the Lions. Same with Shannon Neal for the Cats, 6 touches, 2 kicks and 1 goal. Just the team stats before we wrap it up, folks. There we go. It was 40 plus disposals to the Lions. As I said, not normally do the Lions get in front on the stats, but end up losing the game. There we go. Inside 50s, though, the Cats did a lot better there. 60 inside 50s to 47 there for the Lions. So they were plus 13 there, which is really good. Free kicks, 19 apiece. A couple of odd ones there that we well talked about during the week with that Brisbane double free kick. But for the Cats' sake, they ended up winning the game pretty comfortably. Lions on top in the hit-outs, they were plus 19, but the Cats were plus 1 in the centre in the clearances, plus 5 in the centre clearances. So it was pretty level after half-time. I think it was about 8-2 going into the half-time break. Stoppage clearances, Lions just on top there, plus 4, 30-26. Contested possessions, well, the Cats, 136, 120, got on top there. Lions, as always, uncontested, usually pretty well get on top in that against anyway. They got that short chipping game there. Turnovers wasn't too bad, reasonably standard on the performance, pretty well on season average for both. The Cats ended up plus 10 marks, but the inside 50 marks just dominated. They just found space. Their forwards work well. And, of course, the defence of the Cats caused trouble for the Lions down there to get forward 50 marks. And, of course, they just couldn't find the space and lower their eyes as much as the Cats did. They were just dominant there, 15-9 in contested marks also. Have a look at the tackle count here. This is what we're talking about, folks. This is finals football, and it's what you've got to bring. 80 tackles. 80 tackles to the Cats, 64 to the Lions. Both teams well above season average. And, of course, 14-7 tackles inside 50. Fantastic news there. That's what you love to see. Finals football, pressure, pressure, pressure. All right, just reiterating, folks, of course, the Brisbane Lions. Now, the Cats will go on. They'll have a week off, and then they will play the Cats' next game. They will play the winner between Adelaide, whoever wins between Adelaide. Now, first off, GWS Giants and Hawthorn, whoever win that game will play Adelaide, and then whoever wins that game will play the Geelong Cats. And, of course, for the Brisbane Lions, they will play the winner of the Dockers and the Suns. And, of course, the winner of that game will then go on to meet Collingwood, And of course, the winner of those two games, the semis, will go on to make the grand final. So it could just as well come down to the Hoops and the Strikes playing the grand final this year. They look like the two teams that the rest of them have got to beat, and that's Collingwood and Geelong. They certainly do look outstanding at the moment, especially the way Collingwood played last night and Geelong played this evening. Both teams know when finals comes around. They certainly lift up tenfold in finals football, both of these teams really well. All right, folks, don't forget, if you want to tune in on tomorrow's games, GWS Giants and Hawthorn, that's at 3:15 p.m. Melbourne time, up there at Engie Stadium. That's a home game for the GWS Giants. And, of course, later on, where you got the Dockers and Fremantle Dockers versus the Gold Coast Suns over there at Optus Stadium in Perth. It kicks off at 7:35 p.m. Melbourne time. And, of course, that will be the game that most people will be interested in if you are a Brisbane Lions supporter, because that's the team you'll be facing next week, the winner of the Gold Coast and the Fremantle Dockers. It's going to be a couple of fantastic games tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be high pressure again. Really interesting games to watch. So we'll be here we'll cover those games for everyone out there that wants to drop on in. We are Geelong, the greatest team of all outside of Collingwood. I agree with you, M. King. I agree. I tell you what, they looked impressive. I know they were saying they might have been tiring a little bit in that final quarter. Well, you know what? Maybe they did. But I tell you what, their first three quarters were just exceptional. And of course, having a little bit more of a solid game this week should hold them in good stead. To tell you what, they're going to be mighty hard to beat whoever they play next time in a couple of weeks' time. Of course, they've got the week off. Could be the Cats going into another grand final. You never know. Hey, I tell you what, M. King, you could be playing the Pies. That'll be some sort of game. Geelong taking on Collingwood. I tell you what, Brisbane has still got something to say about it. So has Adelaide and so have all the other teams. We'll have to find out a little bit later on. All right, folks. Hey, that's all I've got for everyone tonight. Thanks for joining in on the coverage. We saw the Cats defeating the Brisbane Lions by 38 points on a chilly night at the MCG, 6 degrees Celsius here in Melbourne. We've got a couple of games coming up tomorrow, so hopefully you'll drop on by, have a little bit of a chat in the chat, talk about your footy, talk about your club. That's all good. We're all footy lovers here. All right, folks, that's all I got for this one. So until tomorrow, don't forget where it all kicks off again. 3:15, we'll head up to Engie Stadium, Giants and the Hawks. That's our next game for tomorrow, Saturday football. Big day in footy tomorrow. All right, folks, hey, thanks again. Until next time, ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.